exhilarating sports talk coming up next on The Doug Stewart Show in about 2 minutes. Stay tuned. We're about to have some fun. That's right, sports talk, guy talk, right here on The Doug Stewart Show. Show coming up in about a minute and a half. Hold on. You have entered a no puppet zone. That's right, no puppetry around here. The Doug Stewart Show coming up in about 1 minute. The realest, treeless, most unfiltered sports and guy talk show in America. The Doug Stewart Show coming up in about 30 seconds. Yes!
Doctor, this is the mayor talking.
All right.
Doctor,
Come on, what?
always do the right thing.
If you came here to hear for fake, you are in the wrong place. We are for real around here. We keeps it real. This is the Doug Stewart Show, the livest, the realest, the trillest sports talk show in America. Are you not entertained? This is Sports Talk with Hot Sauce. Texas Pete Hot Sauce, the Doug Stewart Show. Yes! Game time. What's happening? Welcome to the Doug Stewart Show. Yes, sir. This is a Wild Out Wednesday. Thank you for joining your boy. Shouts out to all of the Stewies already in the chat room. What up, Stewies? How y'all doing? And oh boy, we got a lot of great things we're going to get into today, as we do every single day. But bring that beat back one more time. We do that every day as well. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Oh, man. Very, very eventful night in the world of sports. We're going to talk about it all today. Sports, entertainment, guy talk. That's what we do around here on the Doug Stewart Show. If you're new to the show, thank you so much for tuning in. A couple of things you need to do. You need to follow the show. Hit the little follow button on Spreaker.com. All right, so just go to Spreaker and hit the follow button, so whenever a show goes live, like, for example, today, after this show at 12 noon Eastern Time, we got the Kicking It with Kesey show. I'll tell you more about that today, right here on the Stewart Media and Entertainment Network. So you need to follow the show on Spreaker.com, and then you need to hit the little chat bubble and jump into the chat room. We have the greatest, the best chat room in America, maybe even the world. I call it the fantasy island of sports and guy chat. And its inhabitants are called the Stewies. Shouts out to the Stewies, man. So make sure you do that. What we do on this show, man, is we do sports differently than everybody else in America. Once again, we talk sports. We talk entertainment. We do Dougie Dailies. We do We'll talk about here in a second. We do top fives. Every once in a while, I'll even sing for y'all ass. It's crazy. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Oh, man. So today, man, obviously we'll talk about what's going on in Athens with the Georgia Bulldogs. College football playoff rankings come out on yesterday. Kobe Bryant back in his hometown. Mark Richt to the U. We talked about that. The Falcons hold a players-only meeting. And the latest on the Heisman Trophy. We'll talk about all those things today. But before the show started today, so I'm watching, TV. They have the TV on here in the studio. And they show this little interview on the Puppet Factory. The Puppet Factory is ESPN. They showed this little interview, this post-game interview with Jahlil Okafor. They get their first win last night of the season. We'll talk about that a little bit more during today's show. But they were interviewing him, and he made these comments saying, how when Kobe Bryant walked into the room where he was at, it almost felt like it was a god coming in. And he talked about how, and he's the second person that's used this or talked about this week. He said that, Kobe Bryant was his generation's Michael Jordan. And I stopped and I thought about that for a second, and I was and Kevin Durant said the same thing a little bit earlier this week. Kobe Bryant was our Michael Jordan. And I started to think about that, and I started thinking about all of the hate that Kobe Bryant receives and has received in his life. For so many different reasons, just because he's a Laker. Part of the problem is he's a Laker, first of all. And then, he rubs a lot of people the wrong way. The whole thing where he told on Shaq. He told the police on Shaq. Ninjas ain't never forgave him for that. But I started to think about it for a second. And I was like, you know what, man? That's probably true. Based on the age of these guys, man. These guys probably saw Michael Jordan at the end of his career with the Washington Bulls and whatnot. So I'm looking at Michael Jordan retired in 2001. Okay, he retired in 2003. He went to the Washington Wizards in 2001. So this 2001, he went to the Wizards. That was, where his skills started to erode. And he wasn't the same Michael Jordan that we remember, from the mid-'80s, early 90s, and all of that stuff. So if these guys are like 20 years old right now, they were 5, 6 years old when Michael Jordan was bad. So think about that. Kobe Bryant is this generation's Michael Jordan. So I started to think about that a second, man, and it made me remember how, you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, it made me remember how when I was growing up, like how in my generation, you could never imagine anybody being bigger than and having a bigger brand and being more of a celebrity than Dr. J. Like I couldn't imagine that someone would be bigger and more talked about and celebrated more than Dr. J. And I still believe that he's one of the biggest stars that basketball has ever seen. But then came along Michael Jordan. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is incredible. This guy is even better and maybe bigger than Dr. J. And then came Kobe Bryant, and then came LeBron James. And so it started me thinking, this is kind of like a Dougie Daily question. I want to just float this out there to y'all and get your thoughts on this on the chat. And we read a lot of chat here on the Doug Stewart Show as well. Like at the top of their career, who was a bigger celebrity or who was more popular at the top of their career? Was it Michael Jordan? Was it Kobe Bryant? Was it Dr. J? And pretty much we're talking about the last 30, 35 years. Or was it LeBron James? So, I pretty much think, though, out of the last 30 years, those are the four biggest names in basketball. LeBron, Kobe, MJ, and Dr. J. I'm going to say this, and it's probably going to be Michael Jordan because most of us believe that Michael Jordan was the greatest basketball player of all time. A lot of people believe that. We're talking about how popular they were. It's probably Michael Jordan. If you put a gun to my head, I'd probably say Michael Jordan was super, super huge because Michael Jordan started a lot of things. Michael Jordan is responsible really for the growth of where basketball is today. But I'm going to tell you this, man. If you're young, if you're under the age of like 35, once again, you don't know or you don't remember, but Dr. J was a pretty big deal I mean, really. Dr. J, he had the cool name. He had the big-ass afro. I mean, he dunked on you from the free throw line, won championships. Dr. J was pretty big. Jordan probably was more popular at the top of his career than all of these guys. I don't know. Maybe some of these young kids that are 10, 11, 12 years old right now, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, would say that LeBron's the biggest name. But they can't really tell. We really need people to talk about this and give me your thoughts in the chat room on Spreaker.com that have been around. You need to be like in your mid-40s, your early 40s, mid-40s, a little bit later, maybe your early 50s or whatever, or older. Like, I really love to talk to the old cats. Whenever I used to go to the barbershop, I always listen to my elders, and maybe that's a country boy thing, but I was always told to listen to your elders. And so it's almost like that argument that you have about hip-hop, and you ask a young person about who's the greatest rapper of all time, they're going to inevitably tell you Lil Wayne or somebody like that. But how do you know? You weren't around to hear, Rakim or KRS-One or Cool G Rap or anybody like that, Big Daddy Kane, so you really can't answer. So this is a little biased, and this is a little biased to the old school today a little bit, but at their height, you've been around to see all four of these guys, and I'm really kind of reflecting and putting all of this stuff in perspective because the Bean is retiring, okay? He said it a couple days ago. But at the height of their career, who was the most popular? Who had the biggest brand? Was it LeBron? Or was it LeBron? Was it Kobe? Was it Michael Jordan? Or was it Dr. J? I want to get your thoughts on that, man. 404-382-0338. And I saw somebody just now in the chat room mention Magic Johnson. I think Magic Johnson is right up there, one of the greatest 2-3 players of all times. But I guess what we're kind of talking about here is shooting guards, is two guards, is scorers. And I think it doesn't kind of feel right for Magic Johnson to be in this conversation about with these type of skill type players, I guess. And maybe you can find a way to put Magic Johnson in the conversation. But for today, for this purpose of this show, we're talking about those four guys. Two guards, scorers, big names, the biggest names in basketball at the time. Who had the biggest brand? Who was the most popular during their era at the top of their career? 404-382-0338 is the number to the show. You can also email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. A lot of stuff went down yesterday, man, and we just talked about it a little bit, teased it a little bit. When we get back from the break, man, let's get into it, man. Kirby Smart, defensive coordinator for the Alabama Crimson Tide, former Georgia Bulldog. Word on the street, this is a done deal. He'll be the head coach of the Georgia Bulldogs. We'll talk about that when we get back from the break. I'll jump into some of your chat. This is what we do around here on the Doug Stewart Show. It's guy talk. It's basically like you at the barbershop on radio. We invented this. Me and my brother, the two live stews. When we get back from the break, man, we'll jump into this Georgia story. Don't go away. Sports talk with hot sauce, Texas Pete hot sauce. This is the Doug Stewart Show. Fans are winning huge cash prizes every day at DraftKings.com. America's favorite place to play daily fantasy sports. Daily fantasy means no season-long commitments. Play whenever you want. Just pick your sport and draft your team. It's like a new season every time you play, so you're never stuck with the same players. Last year, $300 million were won at DraftKings.com, and you could be next to win big. Go to DraftKings.com now and enter promo code STU to play for free. That's Stu for free entry now at DraftKings.com. Also, if you use promo code STU, DraftKings will match your initial deposit up to $600. Deposit $600, play with $1,200. DraftKings.com, promo code STU. Do you have your own radio show? Are you an artist or a DJ? BB Mobile Apps is the solution for you. They specialize in creating mobile apps for entertainers. That's right. You can have your own mobile app where your followers can hear your shows or music, watch your videos, and view all your social networks in one place. You can even make money with banner ads and send push notifications directly to your audience to make sure they get your messages. Everyone has their phones on them, right? A mobile app will add credibility to your brand because your content will be accessible to them while they're on the go. BB Mobile Apps also makes apps for bloggers, actors, and producers. The process only takes about 20 minutes. Just go to bbmobileapps.com and click Get Started Now. That's bbmobileapps.com and tell them the Doug Stewart Show sent you. This is your folk, Doug Stewart. Want to protect you and your family from life's unexpected mishaps? Then join 7. Join 7 is a prepaid legal company under the umbrella of the Protection Group. Join 7 is the only group benefit or motor club in the U.S. that offers auto reimbursement coverage, key replacement coverage, roadside assistance, gives you a current Medi-File, prescription savings, and fully encompassed prepaid legal benefits that include identity theft. They got your back. The average combined cost to purchase these benefits individually is over $850 a year. Join today and take advantage of all 7 for $17 a month. They've been around for over 20 years, so check them out by clicking on the banner link on my page, thedougstewartshow.com, or the app. Just go ahead and join 7. Welcome back to the Doug Stewart Show. Wild Out Wednesday, December 2nd, 2015. Sports Talk with Hot Sauce, Texas Pete Hot Sauce. This is the Doug Stewart Show. All right, so today, immediately following my show right here on the Stewart Media and Entertainment Network, the Kicking It with Kesey show returns. That's right. 12 p.m. today. My man Kesey speaks again with his good buddy G, who is actually Real People Music in the Doug Stewart Show chat. Shouts out to you, G. For their 5th installment, they discuss Star Wars, the state of the world, and racism, the Atlanta music scene, and more. And I got to tell you, and I should have put the alert on this show because we're going to air it right in this feed. You don't have to log out or anything like that at all. G is kind of uncut. So this thing is going to be kind of wild today, so make sure you stay tuned for the Kicking It with Kesey show today, right after the Doug Stewart Show. All right, so word on the street is Georgia will hire Alabama defensive coordinator Kirby Smart to replace former coach Mark Richt, who was fired on Sunday after coaching the Bulldogs for 15 seasons, according to several sources. And you knew it had to be something like this. You knew the way that it abruptly ended for Mark Richt that Georgia had already probably had a deal in place with somebody. And it makes perfect sense. Kirby Smart has actually turned down a couple of job offers over the years because he's been waiting for this. I mean, everybody has their dream job, and usually it's the place that you once played at. I mean, one of my dream jobs, and I had never been a coach, but I know I would be a fantastic coach if I ever had the opportunity. One of my dream jobs would be to coach my high school. I mean, because, that's it. I mean, it's a personal relationship with that. And so Kirby Smart played for the University of Georgia, and now he is going to be the head coach of the Georgia Bulldogs. I don't think he signed a deal yet. I don't think. I know he hasn't signed a deal yet, but pretty much when you get this much, people reporting that it's going to happen, it's probably going to happen. So what do you think about that? If you're a Georgia Bulldog fan, what do you think about Kirby Smart being the head coach of the Georgia Bulldogs? Obviously a tremendous defensive mind, been the defensive coordinator for what I think 3 national championships, just knows what he's doing, kind of has that little swagger about him. You would think that he's probably somewhat of a player's coach because he played the game at such a high level, was a damn good player. I think he was an all-SEC player as a defensive back in the late 90s for Georgia. So he's got that going for him as well. The thing I don't know about this, and I said it yesterday, and I saw somebody made a comparison, or they threw out the name Will Muschamp in the chat room. And I'm sorry I didn't write down your name or anything like that, and I'm going to get to some of your chat here in a second. But you just never know with a coordinator. You never know what they're going to be as a head coach. You don't know if they're actually just a follower or if they're, ultimately a leader. And I do believe a leader is born. I think you can turn yourself into a better leader, but I think born leaders are just that, born leaders. So, I mean, there's some question about what happens now. All right. I, just like a lot of people in the state of Georgia, if you're new to the show is based in Atlanta, Georgia. I, just like a lot of people in this state, felt like that it was time for Mark Richt to go. 10 wins, and winning a bunch of games in the regular season, it doesn't mean anything to me. I mean, that's good. And I mean, you got something to look forward to when you go to home games that your team's going to be competitive. But at the end of the day, it's all about winning championships. So I felt like they should have gone in a different direction. All right, so that's done. You bring in a guy really with no, prior history as being the man, the guy in charge, the head coach. So it's kind of scary. Like I said, someone mentioned the name Will Muschamp. You know what happened with Muschamp. Great coordinator in college for many, many years. I think he came from Texas, I believe it was, under Mac Brown, then comes to Florida, and they basically don't do a damn thing. So you never know. It's just like drafting players in the NFL in the first round. You think that they're going to be good. Based on their resume, they're going to be good. But once they get up there, they turn into, I don't know, Tim Couch or somebody like that. Or Ryan Leaf. You don't know. For every Nick Saban, that was a coordinator for many, many years and got his opportunity to be a head coach, very successful. For every Nick Saban and for every Urban Meyer and for every Jim Tressel that started off as a coordinator and got a head coaching job that had great success, and you got your Will Muschamps of the world. You got plenty of coaches, man, that have not been successful once they got the reins. They were just that, coordinators. Kind of like how I feel about Rex Ryan. Rex Ryan's he's a great coordinator, fantastic coordinator. That's proven, undoubted. But a head coach, not so much. So we'll see. I hope it works out. I would have, if I was Georgia, I would have really looked to try to get somebody that already has coaching experience as a head coach. That's optimal. And I mean, you know what? I'm sure that there's not a lot of guys out there that fit the bill and everything they want to try to do. You want to try to win with defense, I guess, going forward. And no better guy to get than Kirby Smart at this point. But we'll see. What do y'all think about Kirby Smart, the new head coach of the Georgia Bulldogs? Also, a little Dougie Daly I threw out a little bit earlier, man. What are your thoughts about – you started reflecting about Kobe, man, and Jahlil Okafor and Kevin Durant said, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, that Kobe Bryant was their Michael Jordan. They were very small when Michael Jordan was at his peak, very, very young, like 5, 6 years old, so they really don't remember Jordan like that. But, like, at the height of their career, who was a bigger name? Was it Michael Jordan? Was it Kobe Bryant? Maybe LeBron James? We were doing a Periscope at the start of the show before we came on air, and someone had mentioned Steph Curry is the next big thing. And that's very possible. Like, we'll be throwing Steph Curry in this conversation probably in about 10 years, 15 years from now. But, yeah, what are your thoughts, man? Michael Jordan, obviously, with the brand Michael Jordan was huge, and all the endorsements and everything that he's known for. Them damn sneakers were big as hell. And media is just bigger. The more you go along, media just continues to get bigger and bigger and bigger. Nowhere the way that it was when Dr. J was playing at the height of his career. So very interesting stuff, man. From Corey. Corey says globally, it's Jordan, Kobe, LeBron, Dr. J in the terms of popularity. Okay, and I was kind of asking the question from the perspective of just here in this country. But yeah, globally. All right, obviously Michael Jordan is just huge with the Jordan brand. Kobe Bryant's big abroad as well. I mean, he has that kind of like that international flavor because he can speak French fluidly. And I know that he's big in other parts of the world, so maybe that is the case, maybe even over LeBron at this time. From, who do we got here? From Stringer, he says, because of the branding in commercials I think it was Jordan. The Nike, Gatorade, and McDonald's commercials made Jordan a worldwide phenomenon. Yeah, I mean, listen, I've already acknowledged it. It's probably Michael Jordan. And I guess it's kind of just fun to talk about these guys and how big of a name they were and kind of reflect on the fact of how big they were. It's almost like, it's all based on when you grew up. To me, I think it's arguable between Michael Jordan and Dr. J, because when I was a kid, Dr. J was that dude. And you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. Dr. J, not only that, Dr. J had a cool nickname. All of these other guys, they don't have a cool nickname. I think when you have a cool nickname, it kind of adds to the lore. It kind of adds to your legend. And Dr. J, oh my gosh, coming from the free throw line, the 76ers were on TV every Sunday. Every Sunday back then, you didn't have cable TV. And you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. So back then, it was all about CBS basketball on Sunday. And inevitably, it'd be the 76ers, it'd be the Boston Celtics, and the Lakers would get some run. That was it. I promise you, 80-90% of the games that they showed back in 1979, 80, 81, 82 involved one of those three teams on Sunday afternoon on CBS. Okay? So it was huge. And Dr. J, out of those three teams, before the Lakers went on their run with championships, before Magic Johnson got there, the biggest team back doing then, and it's crazy to think about now because they've sucked for so many years, was probably the 76ers. Seriously, reflect back if you came along during my era. The 76ers was a big deal, and the biggest deal on the 76ers was Dr. J, man. Real interesting stuff, man. 404-382-0338. You can also email me at doug@thedugstewartshow.com. From Fatboy McCoon, Fred, me and a coworker was talking about it and looking at their schedule. Their only test would be against Cleveland on Christmas, which by that time they would be 26-0. So he's talking about the Golden State Warriors, who remain undefeated right now. I think the mark is 19-0. Me and Ryan threw it out this past weekend on the Two Live Stews, and I guess we were kind of being facetious about it to a degree. And, the Two Live Stews on 640 WGST Saturday mornings, 11 a.m. Once again, 640 WGST, as well as worldwide on iHeartRadio. But we were talking about it facetiously this weekend, kind of tongue-in-cheek. To question it now, will they catch 72? Will they win 72 games, tying what the Bulls did? Will they go undefeated? Now, that's not going to happen. That's just not going to happen because there's too many great teams. And just unlike the NFL, they really mix around the schedules. There's so many teams and so many games. They play everybody. So at some point, they're going to play San Antonio. They're probably going to play, like my man said, they're going to play Cleveland on Christmas. They're not going to go undefeated. But I don't see any reason at all. Any reason at all they're not going to match that 72 wins, man, because right now they're playing as a well-oiled machine. And they don't even have their coach. By the way, Luke Walton was named Coach of the Month in the NBA. And I say it tongue-in-cheek. They aren't going to go undefeated, but shouldn't your daily goal be, your weekly goal be to win every single game? Huh? It's crazy. 82 games. It's crazy. Nah, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. But just fun to think about, man. The Golden State Warriors are for real. Somebody sent me, or they posted on my timeline, the records in the Western Conference in the NBA. And it shows the Lakers at the bottom with 2 wins. And it shows Golden State at the top, undefeated. And it's like we're freaking living in bizarro world. Never thought in my lifetime the Lakers would be at the bottom, and not just at the bottom, bad, horrible. And the Golden State Warriors, one of the doormats of the NBA, is at the top of the standings? Lord have mercy, you better get right with God. We living in a time, Fessa. We living in a time. When we get back from the break, man, college football playoff rankings out. We'll talk about that. I'll read more of your chat. We'll do birthdays. We do it all here on the Doug Stewart Show. Don't go away. Do you have your own radio show? Are you an artist or a DJ? BB Mobile Apps is the solution for you. They specialize in creating mobile apps for entertainers. That's right. You can have your own mobile app where your followers can hear your shows or music, watch your videos, and view all your social networks in one place. You can even make money with banner ads and send push notifications directly to your audience to make sure they get your messages. Everyone has their phones on them, right? A mobile app will add credibility to your brand because your content will be accessible to them while they're on the go. BB Mobile Apps also makes apps for bloggers, actors, and producers. The process only takes about 20 minutes. Just go to bbmobileapps.com and click Get Started Now. That's bbmobileapps.com and tell them the Doug Stewart Show sent you.
At Ticket Liquidator, we believe you should have access to the experiences you want to be a part of. Since 2003, Ticket Liquidator has been connecting buyers and sellers with the most sought-after and often sold-out events across the country. Ticket Liquidator's nationwide network gives you access to one of the largest online inventories of sports, theater, and concert tickets, with prices lower than most companies in other markets. And our security policies are solid, so you can buy with absolute confidence. More tickets, better service, and lower prices, so you can witness the best entertainment, culture, and sports events worldwide. At Ticket Liquidator, we know that seeing a legend bring down the house or watching your team win the championship is about more than a ticket. It's about being there. For all your sports and entertainment ticket needs, call us at 855-638-3034. Again, that's 855-638-3034.
National Debt Relief is one of the country's largest and most reputable debt settlement companies, made up of energetic individuals who are passionate about helping thousands of Americans with debt relief. Most importantly, we're all about helping our customers through a tough financial time in their lives with education and individual customer service. We're dedicated to helping individuals and families rid their lives of burdensome debt, specializing in debt settlement, and they've also negotiated settlements for thousands of creditor and collection accounts. Providing clients with both expertise and proven results, this means helping customers in time of hardship to get out of debt with the least possible cost. It can also mean conducting financial consultations, educating the customer, and recommending the appropriate solution. Core Services offer debt settlement as an alternative. I repeat, alternative to bankruptcy, credit counseling, and debt consolidation. National Debt Relief is your #1 advocate group to help you reestablish financial stability as quickly as possible. So give us a call at 844-828-4975. Again, that's 844-828-4975, and work it out.
If you're not stewing, what the hell are you doing? This is the Doug Stewart Show. Wild Out Wednesday. I'm going to talk some birthdays here in a second. If you didn't hear about it on yesterday, man, if you missed the show for some reason yesterday or for whatever crazy reason you didn't tune into the Doug Stewart Show, shame on you. I mean, come on. I know you at work, but who needs to work? You need to put things in proper perspective. But if you didn't listen yesterday, man, we talked about it and I rolled it out, man. The Triple F campaign. Only on the Doug Stewart Show would getting an F would be a positive thing. The Triple F campaign stands for $5 for the flavor. 5 for the flavor. And we're talking about 5 for the flavor of the Doug Stewart Show right here on the Stewart Media and Entertainment Network. Excuse me. We would like for you, if you're a listener to the Doug Stewart Show, a supporter of the Doug Stewart Show and independent radio, donate $5 a month. That's all. One time, $5 a month. All you got to do is go to thedougstewartshow.com, click on the donate button. It's through PayPal. It's very secure. It's easy as hell, like 3 clicks. Support the Doug Stewart Show. Support independent radio. Support black business. Yes, sir. And go to the Doug Stewart Show, man, and donate $5, man. The Triple F campaign. We do appreciate you. We got a lot of donations yesterday, man, and every little bit helps. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. TheDougStewartShow.com. $5 once a month. I mean, hell, just buy your boy a beer. Just think about it like that. We really do appreciate it. Couple of birthdays today of note. Happy birthday. Celebrating a birthday is the great, and I call her great very loosely, Britney Spears. Celebrates her 34th birthday today. Happy birthday to her. Aaron Rodgers turns 32 years old today. Happy birthday to Aaron Rodgers. Green Bay Packer quarterback, obviously, been struggling a little bit. Ooh. Celebrating their 47th birthday today is old fine-ass Lucy Liu. Fine-ass Asian chick. And she can fight. Kind of something sexy about that. Whoop my ass, then break me off. So happy birthday to Lucy Liu. She turns 47 years old today. Who else we got here? You're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. Jason Collins turns 37 years old today. NBA player. Now, is he the gay one or... How does that work? He's a twin. So, no, I better not even go there. Happy birthday to Jason Collins. Happy birthday to Jason Collins. Celebrating their 24th birthday today is Brandon Knight, NBA player. And lastly, celebrating their 45th birthday is rapper Tretch from Naughty by Nature. Happy birthday to all of y'all, man. If you listen to the show and you want me to give you a happy birthday shout out, we can do it. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. All right, 404-382-0338. You can also email me at doug@thedugstewartshow.com. College football playoff rankings come out on yesterday. And no real big shakeup. Number 1, still the Clemson Tigers. Number 2, the Alabama Crimson Tide. Number 3, the Oklahoma Sooners. Number 4, Iowa. Number 5, Michigan State. You know Michigan State and Iowa are going to take on each other in the Big Ten Championship game. Dropping to number 6 is Ohio State. Number 7 is Stanford. Number 8, Notre Dame. Number 9, Florida State. And number 10, coming up 4 spots. Coming up 4 spots to number 10 is the North Carolina Tar Heels. This thing is, we say this so much, we say it ad nauseum. This thing is going to play itself out. It usually works itself out. I just like the fact that we got some type of playoff thing going on in college football. I hated the BCS for all the years that it ran. Some interesting things to think about. What if Clemson were to lose to North Carolina? I don't think that's going to happen. I think Clemson's the better team. They've showed themselves to be the better team this year. But North Carolina's only gotten 1 loss. And Clemson hadn't looked dominant to me over the last couple of games. I talked about that on yesterday. But what if North Carolina were to shock and beat the number 1 team, Clemson? What if they were to beat them handily? And I think that's probably the only way they would be able to jump up that many spots from 10 all the way to 4. Is they would have to destroy Clemson, like make Clemson look bad. Like even if they got a win, I still don't think it'd be enough to catapult them to the top 4. So that's an interesting conversation to have. Oklahoma. What about Oklahoma? They don't play a conference championship game. What if a team like Ohio State, which I think Ohio State, to me, even though they had the loss against Michigan State, I think Ohio State's a better team than Oklahoma. What if Oklahoma, or what if Ohio State, or Michigan and Iowa, what if Iowa loses? Okay, because Iowa's ranked higher than Michigan State right now. Ohio State, I think, legitimately has an argument to be in the top 4. You know, it's crazy. They talk about Ohio State having 1 loss, and so they drop that many spots out of the top 5 or out of the top 4. But they got 2 teams in the top 4 that have 1 loss as well. So what makes Oklahoma's loss to Texas at home? You got to remember that about Oklahoma's loss. They have 1 loss, just like Ohio State, and this is crazy for me to say because I'm an Ohio State hater. But Oklahoma has 1 loss at home to Texas. Ohio State has 1 loss at home to Michigan State. They're both losses. I think Oklahoma losing to Texas, as bad as Texas has been all year long, is a worse loss than Ohio State losing to Michigan State. I know it kind of gets confusing here when we talk about all these teams and all these scenarios, but I do. So that whole thing about, you know, when you lose, if you lose early in the season, is definitely shown right here in this example that we're talking about. I think Ohio State's better than Oklahoma. I think Oklahoma's playing great. I really wish, if I had my say-so about it, like a lot of people, I think that they need to have 8 teams. It's just flawed from the very beginning because you only have 4 spots, but you have 5 power conferences. We talked about that many, many times. Ohio State, can they creep into this thing some kind of way? I don't know. North Carolina, if they were to destroy Clemson, will they creep into the top 4? They got to jump a bunch of teams. But we've seen it done before by this committee. We will see. But I cannot wait until the final pairings are come out. And after this coming weekend in particular, where they play these championship games in the ACC and the Big Ten and the Pac-12 as well. Wow, what about USC? USC doesn't really, I don't think they have, they're not even in the conversation at all, which you're talking about the Pac-12. The Pac-12 is pretty much going to be shut out of this thing. Stanford, with 2 losses, they aren't going to jump up enough at that number 7 spot, I don't believe, to get into the Final Four. So very interesting stuff, man, when you talk about college football and these playoffs. It's all about timing, it seems to be. And it also seems like it has a lot to do with your brand. I talked yesterday about the fact that the reason North Carolina started out so far back, even though they've had this great season, they haven't climbed enough spots, is because they're a basketball program. We look at, and even the people in the committee, the committee members that are choosing these teams, they're trying to be as unbiased as they can, but subconsciously in the back of their mind, they're saying ACC, they're saying North Carolina, they're saying Michael Jordan, they're saying James Worthy. They're not saying football. And so it hurts North Carolina. And really, you don't know unless you play it on the field. They got to go to 8 teams, man. And I think the reason why they're kind of shying away from talking about the whole 8-team thing and saying that this is good the way we're doing it right now, you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, is because in the back of their minds, they feel like that if you add 4 more teams, then we're going to want, 12, and then we're going to want 16, and then we're going to want 32, kind of like college basketball, not to that degree, but where does it stop? I would be perfectly fine with 8. I promise you, if they come up and they change to 8 teams, okay, if they change to 8 teams, I will be fine. Scouts honor, I'll put my right hand up to God, pinky square, like my daughter used to say, pinky square. I will be happy with 8 teams. I won't beg no more. You know how they always say you give a ninja an inch and take a mile? I won't ask for any more teams to be added. If y'all give me 8 teams, I am good. I'm good. 404-382-0338 is the number to the show. You can also email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. When we get back from the break, all I'm going to do is read chat. We'll also get a little bit into what happened last night in the NBA between the Los Angeles Lakers and the Philadelphia 76ers, and more conversation, man. I want to get some of your thoughts in the chat room about who was the biggest star, who was the most popular player in the NBA at the height of their career. Was it Dr. J? Was it Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Kobe Bryant? Having some fun with that as well, all right? Don't go away. Keep it locked. This is the Doug Stewart Show.
At Ticket Liquidator, we believe you should have access to the experiences you want to be a part of. Since 2003, Ticket Liquidator has been connecting buyers and sellers with the most sought-after and often sold-out events across the country. Ticket Liquidator's nationwide network gives you access to one of the largest online inventories of sports, theater, and concert tickets, with prices lower than most companies in other markets. And our security policies are solid, so you can buy with absolute confidence. More tickets, better service, and lower prices, so you can witness the best entertainment, culture, and sports events worldwide. At Ticket Liquidator, we know that seeing a legend bring down the house or watching your team win the championship is about more than a ticket. It's about being there. For all your sports and entertainment ticket needs, call us at 855-638-3034. Again, that's 855-638-3034.
Fantasy sports fans are winning huge cash prizes every day at DraftKings.com. America's favorite place to play daily fantasy sports. Daily fantasy means no season-long commitments. Play whenever you want. Just pick your sport and draft your team. It's like a new season every time you play, so you're never stuck with the same players. Last year, $300 million were won at DraftKings.com, and you could be next to win big. Go to DraftKings.com now and enter promo code STU to play for free. That's STU for free entry now at DraftKings.com. Also, if you use promo code STU, DraftKings will match your initial deposit up to $600. Deposit $600, play with $1,200. DraftKings.com, promo code STU. This is your folk, Doug Stewart. Want to protect you and your family from life's unexpected mishaps? Then join 7. Join 7 is a prepaid legal company under the umbrella of the Protection Group. Join 7 is the only group benefit or motor club in the U.S. that offers auto reimbursement coverage, key replacement coverage, roadside assistance, gives you a current Medi-File, prescription savings, and fully encompassed prepaid legal benefits that include identity theft. They got your back. The average combined cost to purchase these benefits individually is over $850 a year. Join today and take advantage of all 7 for $17 a month. They've been around for over 20 years, so check them out by clicking on the banner link on my page, thedugstewartshow.com, or the app. Just go ahead and join 7. Welcome back to the Doug Stewart Show. I just thought about it, man. I missed Scream Queens last night. Damn. All right, but it's 2015, so I can go back and watch it on demand or something like that. Yeah, I missed Scream Queens. I had a meeting last night, and it just occurred to me that I missed Scream Queens. I mean, damn. How do you do that? That's like my favorite show on TV right now. Shut up. It's funny. Stupid ass studio audience. 404-382-0338. You can also email me at Doug@thedugstewartshow.com. This is the Doug Stewart Show. Thank you so much for joining your boy. Shouts out to all of the Stewies in the chat room. Thank you. Hey, this segment is brought to you by my good friends from Strickland Security, man. Strickland Security has over 55 years combined experience in the business. They can set you up with an alarm system at just $15 a month. They can fix your alarm system, no problem at all. Or they can give you the big boy alarm system with cameras and all of that type of stuff, man. They aren't going to try to upsell you. It's all about you. They also have programs in place for neighborhood watches that they can tell you more about. Good guys, man. This is Atlanta. I love the A. I always say it every single day. I tell y'all this. I love Atlanta, man, but cats be going for it around here. All right? So you got to protect your family. You got to protect your kids and your wife while you're away. And it's mostly dudes that listen to this network and to this show. So, I mean, protect your place, man. Holla at my folks at Strickland Security. Go online and check them out at StricklandSecurity.com. That's StricklandSecurity.com. And tell them that the Doug Stewart Show sent you. This is a message from a man, Kurt, from Detroit. He actually sent this to me, and I happened to look at my phone. I rarely look at my phone, but I looked at my phone during the break. He sent me this text. He said, Dr. J was the Jordan of the 70s and early 80s. The Jordan before Jordan. Doc was huge. He put huge in capital letters. But the media coverage was different, and there was absolutely zero. Any type of social media or anything like that, nothing. That's the huge difference. There really wasn't social media when Jordan was around. And so I do believe, we talked about this, if you're just joining the show, we talked about this at the top of the show. I started to think about the statements made by Jahlil Okafor and Kevin Durant saying that Kobe Bryant was the Michael Jordan of their era when they were growing up. But yeah, there wasn't social media. Social media has only been around for, I can't even remember when I first started using social media. I always tell the story about how I remember the first time I got on the internet. The internet hadn't been around that long. The first time I got on the internet was in 1994. I believe it was 94. It might have been the end of 93. No, it had to be 94. It was 1994. And I had moved to Pensacola, Florida. I just told a story a couple of days ago how my first job out of college, I was a manager of Foot Action USA in the mall. Great job, but they just wanted a ninja to work all the damn time. So I got promoted, got my own store, which is a big thing in that industry. Got my own store in Pensacola, Florida. Moved down to Pensacola, Florida. I met this bruh named Howard Brown. He pledged at Florida State. So we're riding in the car, and at that time he was getting his graduate degree from the University of West Florida. And we were riding around, and he said, man, I got to stop by the campus for a second. I got to go in the computer lab. So I had a computer lab. We had a computer lab at South Carolina State. But we go in this computer lab, and he gets on, and like I'm sitting there with him, by him, and I'm eating a hamburger or something like that, as I remember. And he starts typing, and he sits there for a second, and somebody, and this is back during the time when the computer screen was like green, I think, or the computer screen was black. And he's having a conversation with somebody. And he sits there, he types a message to this person, and the person types a message back to him, and they respond to the question that he asked. And I was like, man, what are you doing? And he says, man, I'm having a conversation with this chick that I met in Europe. I was like, you're doing what? He's like, yeah, we're on the net. And I says, the net? What kind of net are you talking about, man? He says, man, I'm on the internet. Probably the first time I'd ever heard the term. Yeah. So that was 1994. So we're a little bit older, and that's when I remember everybody really starting during that era. People started talking about the internet, but we've only had the internet, at this mass level for, a little bit over 20 years. Maybe some people a little bit longer, but right around that time. And so, yeah, there wasn't social media really when Michael Jordan was around, or it came on with Michael Jordan kind of like at the mid to end part of his career, but nothing like today with Twitter. There wasn't no Twitter when Michael Jordan was around, so Kobe and LeBron and all of these guys have really benefited, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, they've really benefited from social media and Twitter and Facebook and Instagram, and all of these guys are into Instagram, and they promote their brand, and they break their own stories. The Players Tribune, you just saw this a couple of days ago with Kobe. Kobe broke the news that he was going to call it quits after this year. And all of that's because of the internet. So the point that Kurt made is very, very valid, man. Times are just different, and these stars, their stars can be brighter because of the way media is today, man. Very, very interesting stuff. 404-382-0338. You can also email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. From Stringer, he says there was Black Planet and something else back in the day. Can't remember the other thing. There was MySpace. And I don't even know about Black Planet. I've heard what it's all about, but I don't know anything about it. Some type of hookup site or something like that. From Fred Mack, he says, Magic and Bird brought basketball popularity. Dr. J's tale of career. You're right. So at the end of Dr. J's career, then that whole Magic Bird thing kind of hit, So yeah, from Clay Davis's Sheed Advisor, 94, that loud-ass dial-in modem. Yeah, I mean, young kids don't even know about that damn modem. Making that loud-ass noise. Do-do-do-do. And I can't even make the sound proper, but yeah. I mean, it's changed so much, man. I can't even imagine life without the internet. The reason I'm doing this show right now is because of this damn internet thing. Praise God for the internet. A ninja kicked off a radio station 20 years ago, man. It was a wrap. Now we're able to bring you this fine sports programming show, the Doug Stewart Show. And it's all because of the internet. Thank you to Al Gore. From Fred Mack, not Fred Mack, from Chuchi, he says, last episode of Scream Queens coming up. It better have a clear resolution or I will be ticked off. Yeah! That's a good point. If you're a Scream Queens fan, this is getting very, very convoluted on how they're going to do this. All right, so we know who one of the killers is. The frat boy, gay guy that we thought was dead, but he actually was one of the killers. But he came back, and so the other killer, the other guy in the Red Devil mask, killed him. But there's no one else that fits that the killer could be, because all the other, I don't know, man. This is very confusing. You got to watch the show to understand what he's talking about. From Stringer, damn, I told y'all that chat needs its own reality show, Laugh Out Loud. Wait a minute, what's going on? What's going on? From Run CNC, I leave for 5 minutes and we got an episode of beef going on. I'm confused. Wait a minute, y'all beefing in the chat room? No beefing in the chat room now. Hold on now. We family. Hold on now. We family. What's going on in the chat room? And you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. So, yeah, Scream Queens the other night, man. Very, very, very good show. I missed it, so hopefully I'll watch it today and I'll get you more details about it. We'll talk about it more for my Scream Queens fans on the Doug Stewart Show. From D. Bell, looks like we all need to pull the transcript from previous shows to figure out this thing out. I'm as confused as the rest of you. Okay, I have no idea what y'all talking about. Let's see. From Miss Mocha Bella, she says, peace. From DC Cavalier, I'm a college football fan. First and foremost, at 8, then I lose interest in the regular season. I don't think so. And I saw somebody else mention, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, I saw somebody else mention that, and maybe it was Texas Ty, shouts out to you, Texas Ty, that around that 7-8 mark, based on where the teams are ranked right now, that it probably loses some of its luster. So right now you got Stanford at number 7. They've got 2 losses. You got Notre Dame at number 8. They've got 2 losses. But if you look at Notre Dame's losses, and I'm not a Notre Dame fan or anything like that, but if you look at Notre Dame's losses, they lost to who they lose to? Notre Dame lost to, and I'm drawing a blank right now. Obviously, they lost to Clemson, and they also lost to Stanford. But both of those games that they lost were very close games. Very close games. And so I think in an 8-game playoff type system, I think Notre Dame could shock some people. Once again, they lost a very close game on the road at Clemson and to Stanford. So I think they would be competitive in an 8-game playoff type thingy. I do. So we'll see. I think that most college football fans, they want to go to 8 games or 8 teams. I think that'll probably be the best thing. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that? Let me hear more of your thoughts on that if you're in the chat room on Spreaker.com. All right. The number to the show is 404-382-0338. You can also email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. When we get back from the break, let's talk a little bit about the U. And we've been mentioning this over the last couple of days. A perfect fit. I think it might happen. We'll talk about that or read more of your chat. This is the Doug Stewart Show. Hour number 2 coming up.
National Debt Relief is one of the country's largest and most reputable debt settlement companies, made up of energetic individuals who are passionate about helping thousands of Americans with debt relief. Most importantly, we're all about helping our customers through a tough financial time in their lives with education and individual customer service. We're dedicated to helping individuals and families rid their lives of burdensome debt. Specializing in debt settlement, and they've also negotiated settlements for thousands of creditor and collection accounts. Providing clients with both expertise and proven results, this means helping customers in time of hardship to get out of debt with the least possible cost. It can also mean conducting financial consultations, educating the customer, and recommending the appropriate solution. Core Services offer debt settlement as an alternative. I repeat, alternative to bankruptcy, credit counseling, and debt consolidation. National Debt Relief is your #1 advocate group to help you reestablish financial stability as quickly as possible. So give us a call at 844-828-4975. Again, that's 844-828-4975, and work it out.
Do you have your own radio show? Are you an artist or a DJ? BB Mobile Apps is the solution for you. They specialize in creating mobile apps for entertainers. That's right. You can have your own mobile app where your followers can hear your shows or music. watch your videos, and view all your social networks in one place. You can even make money with banner ads and send push notifications directly to your audience to make sure they get your messages. Everyone has their phones on them, right? A mobile app will add credibility to your brand because your content will be accessible to them while they're on the go. BV Mobile Apps also makes apps for bloggers, actors, and producers. The process only takes about 20 minutes. Just go to bvmobileapps.com and click Get Started Now. That's bvmobileapps.com and tell them the Doug Stewart Show sent you.
At Ticket Liquidator, we believe you should have access to the experiences you want to be a part of. Since 2003, Ticket Liquidator has been connecting buyers and sellers with the most sought-after and often sold-out events across the country. Ticket Liquidator's nationwide network gives you access to one of the largest online inventories of sports, theater, and concert tickets, with prices lower than most companies in other markets. And our security policies are solid, so you can buy with absolute confidence. More tickets, better service, and lower prices, so you can witness the best entertainment, culture, and sports events worldwide. At Ticket Liquidator, we know that seeing a legend bring down the house or watching your team win the championship is about more than a ticket. It's about being there. For all your sports and entertainment ticket needs, call us at 855-638-3034. Again, that's 855-638-3034.
Hour number 2, baby. Yes, sir. Welcome back to the Doug Stewart Show. Hey, do you or anyone you know need to promote your business? You got a product out there and you think that sports fans would get a kick out of hearing about it? Man, we're doing some big things here on the Stewart Media and Entertainment Network, home of the Doug Stewart Show. Speaking of which, a little bit later today at 12 noon Eastern Time, the Kicking It with Kesey show right here on the network. But we're doing a ton of big things on Fiverr.com, but you can obviously email me directly at doug@thedugstewartshow.com. We can interview you on my show. Shouts out to my man Joseph Bailey, who yesterday, the Bash interview that we did yesterday on the show, interesting stuff, real good stuff, doing positive things in the community. So we can interview you on our show. We can promote you on our social media. We do voiceovers. We can host or speak at your event. I've done a ton of that in my career. We can even play your music on the network. And the big thing that we're doing, I just mentioned Kesey, is we can broadcast your show on the Stewart Media and Entertainment Network. Don't forget, man, we got close to 10,000 followers to the network. Praise God! Over 300,000 listens. So not only can you advertise with the Doug Stewart Show with TDSS, but you can also advertise with the 2 Live Stews. That's right. On Saturday mornings on 640 WGST, as well as iHeartRadio. We're doing it all, man. So all you got to do, easy way to do it, you can go on Fiverr, but the easy way to do it is just to email me directly at doug@thedugstewartshow.com. That's doug@thedugstewartshow.com. Let's do some business. Yes, sir. So, Mississippi State coach Dan Mullen, Greg Schiano, and Butch Davis have all interviewed for the Miami Hurricanes job. Add to that list former head coach of the Georgia Bulldogs, Mark Richt. We've been talking about it for the last couple of days ever since it happened. I also remember reading some stuff about Mark Richt leaving Georgia, maybe on his own, accord, and going back to Miami. For people that don't know, he actually played at the University of Miami, was a resident of the state of Florida, backed up Jim Kelly way back in the day. So it was at the beginning of the Schnellenberger era where they really started winning and they turned things around down there in Miami, because Miami wasn't that type of program the way that we view it today or in the last couple of years when they had been dominant. But Mark Richt played at the University of Miami. And I just think it's a perfect fit because you know why? Miami's always kind of like on the line of trying to be Miami, the braggadocious, over-the-top program that they had during the day when they won all the national championships, the U, where the U became the U. They're always, threading the needle of being that type of program, once again, over the top, and a disciplined program. So Mark Richt has the best of both worlds. He knows the culture down there in Miami, and it's different down there. I'm imagining the kids are much different now than when he went to the school. But he probably has a great relationship with a lot of the programs down there, the high school programs. And if you can get kids from South Florida, you remember they talked about it in that 30 for 30 documentary, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, the University of South Florida, or the state of South Florida, that's what it was. The state of South Florida, they basically put up a line around the state of South Florida, and that's all they did is recruited kids from down there. Them kids chased rabbits when they were growing up. And so if he can get those kids down there and he has relationships with those kids, man, then he adds the discipline aspect to it, which really is kind of crazy when you think about it. And I guess when we talk about discipline with Mark Richt, we're talking about his religious values that he's always talking about. But Mark Richt has really had some issues with disciplining the kids at the University of Georgia. So that's kind of crazy when you think about it. But Mark Richt, the person Mark Richt, as the head coach of the Miami Hurricanes, he can coach, he can recruit. He can recruit when he was at Georgia. We talked about how he's recruited the most NFL players over the last decade, more so than any other program in the country. So if he recruited the best players to come to the University of Georgia, Georgia has great players talent-wise, but there's probably even a little bit better brand of player in South Florida, in the state of Florida, period. And so Mark Richt to Miami, man, I think would be a great match. I thought that it was his time to go. He should have gone and left from the University of Georgia. That's happened, but I never said that I didn't think Mark Richt was a good coach. And I think maybe what he did at Georgia, he can take it to the next level at Miami. We will see. 404-382-0338 is the number to the show. From Fat Boy McCoon, he says, I see Miami having success with Richt, but I don't see them being the Miami of old. The Miami of old during the Jimmy Johnson era, the Schnellenberger era, it'll never be that again. It's just not. And part of the reason why it'll never be that again is because some of the things we talked about in the last segment, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, is the media coverage today is just different. It's just totally different. You basically see what happened to Johnny Manziel this past week, where because of public scrutiny, think about this now, because of public scrutiny and because of this picture taken of Johnny Manziel in a nightclub and posted all over social media, there was this uproar about Johnny Manziel, and the Browns reacted to it. So take that and multiply it times 20. That's what you had from the Miami Hurricanes 20 years ago, okay? And today, it'll never be that swagger, and I always hope that they could bring it back. But these kids today just don't have that swagger like them kids and the players coming out of high school back during the era where all of those championship teams in the University of Miami. That ship has sailed. We'll just never see that again, and a huge part of the reason why, I think, is because of social media. When this is from Jose Negron. He says, when Mark didn't say New wouldn't take the Miami job, the writing was on the wall. Yeah, I had mentioned how even a couple of weeks ago, before he had been fired from Georgia, he had been asked a question, and he kind of skirted it and did what coaches do and gave that little coach speak. But at that point, man, it was probably in the back of his mind already, I love Athens. I've been to Athens several times for parties back when I was much younger, when I was just out of college or whatever and just moving to Atlanta. But Athens ain't no Miami. I'm sorry. And Mark Richt probably doesn't care about that lifestyle, living in Miami. But damn it, that would be a factor for me. I'm just going to tell you right now. Miami, Athens. Miami, Athens. Miami, Athens. No. From Thorny Switch, she says, I never got catfishing. If you plan to meet the person one day, how in the hell do you explain that you don't look like the picture you posted? From Fat Boy McCoons, her pictures were a light-skinned girl with long hair. She was dark-skinned with a nasty overbite. What are y'all talking about? I'm lost in this chat today. Oh, okay. So maybe y'all talking about I started talking about the internet, and somebody mentioned Black Planet. So y'all talking about dating sites and the internet and how you hooked up on these dating sites. From Ducking and Dodging, if you have 5 power conferences, leaving at least one of them out isn't going to fly too much longer. 6 or 8 will do. Maybe they can do 6. You know what? I might be happy with 6, and you give the top 2 teams a bye. Maybe you do something like that. I'll be fine with that. But I think you got to figure out a way to have, as much as you don't think that they're a football conference, as I talked about earlier, you got to find a way to make sure the ACC gets in. You know what I'm saying? And that's pretty much who we're talking about. We're talking about the ACC. If Clemson hadn't been dominating and going undefeated, if Clemson had 1 loss, they wouldn't be in the top 4. You see what I'm saying? It's all because of the branding and what you think about the particular conferences. So the Pac-12 is just so big that they're going to usually find a team in that, and usually it'll be USC or Oregon or somebody like that. The Big 12, they got big-time program names in Texas and Oklahoma. The Big 10, clearly Ohio State and Michigan, they got a big brand as well. And the SEC does. This thing is all about, finding a way to get an ACC team in, if you ask me. That's a very good point. 404-382-0338. You can also email me at Doug@thedougstewartshow.com. From Chico the Alpha. What up, Chico the Alpha? He says, Doug, what do you think about ESPN poking fun at the KC player doing the na-na or the nay-nay, but not catching the heat that Cam is getting because he isn't black? I was surprised. I saw that somebody posted on Facebook a clip, and I can't remember the guy's name now, Latino guy, I believe he is, on ESPN, one of the hosts, and they showed this clip of the Kansas City Chiefs tight end just nay-naying his ass off after a touchdown. And the host on the Puppet Factory, which I was shocked, I almost thought it was some type of, Photoshop, but doing, with audio. He was like, why is nobody mad at this guy for doing the nay-nay? And maybe it has something to do with the fact that he's not black. When he said it, when I heard the clip, I was like, what? Did he go there? It's Robert Flores. Thank you, my man, Bussa. It was Robert Flores. And when he said that, I was like, did he really say that, or did somebody splice that? Like, I can't believe he actually said that. We're all thinking that. America's thinking that, and we probably know that's the case to a large degree. But I was shocked that he said that. So I need somebody to confirm that was actually true. Or did somebody just do some type of little, editing game or whatever with that stuff, man, and he didn't really say that at all. But yeah, I mean, like my Uncle Michael always said, you know what it is. You talked about some of the examples, man. I'm not going to say that's the main reason that Cam came under so much scrutiny and he had chicks from, soccer moms writing letters about him. But it's definitely a part of it, That's definitely a part of it. Another part of it is the fact that it's the quarterback position. Another part of it is, people just don't like Cam Newton in general. So there's a lot of factors, but to say that that's not part of it, the fact that he's black is just disingenuous. Let's be honest about it. This is what we do around here on the Doug Stewart Show. It's not all of it, but it's definitely part of it. All right, when we get back from the break, man, more of your chat. And also, man, Falcons hold a players-only meeting. You know it's bad when they do that. Don't go away. We also talk some Heisman Trophy updates for you as well. This is the Doug Stewart Show. Fantasy sports fans are winning huge cash prizes every day at DraftKings.com. America's favorite place to play daily fantasy sports. Daily fantasy means no season-long commitments. Play whenever you want. Just pick your sport and draft your team. It's like a new season every time you play, so you're never stuck with the same players. Last year, $300 million were won at DraftKings.com, and you could be next to win big. Go to DraftKings.com now and enter promo code STU to play for free. That's STU for free entry now at DraftKings.com. Also, if you use promo code STU, DraftKings will match your initial deposit up to $600. Deposit $600, play with $1,200. DraftKings.com, promo code STU. Do you have your own radio show? Are you an artist or a DJ? BB Mobile Apps is the solution for you. They specialize in creating mobile apps for entertainers. That's right. You can have your own mobile app where your followers can hear your shows or music, watch your videos, and view all your social networks in one place. You can even make money with banner ads and send push notifications directly to your audience to make sure they get your messages. Everyone has their phones on them, right? A mobile app will add credibility to your brand because your content will be accessible to them while they're on the go. BB Mobile Apps also makes apps for bloggers, actors, and producers. The process only takes about 20 minutes. Just go to bbmobileapps.com and click Get Started Now. That's bbmobileapps.com and tell them the Doug Stewart Show sent you. This is your folk, Doug Stewart. Want to protect you and your family from life's unexpected mishaps? Then join 7. Join 7 is a prepaid legal company under the umbrella of the Protection Group. Join 7 is the only group benefit or motor club in the U.S. that offers auto reimbursement coverage, key replacement coverage, roadside assistance, gives you a current Medi-File, prescription savings, and fully encompassed prepaid legal benefits that include identity theft. They got your back. The average combined cost to purchase these benefits individually is over $850 a year. Join today and take advantage of all 7 for $17 a month. They've been around for over 20 years, so check them out by clicking on the banner link on my page, thedougstewartshow.com, or the app. Just go ahead and join 7. Welcome back to the Doug Stewart Show. Hey, listen, I mentioned this a couple of weeks ago, but I definitely need to mention it now. The Doug Stewart Show and Stewart Media and Entertainment is in the search for interns. That's right. If you're a college student or if you're a parent that has a college student and they have aspirations of getting into the broadcasting business, into radio, TV, or something like that, man, great opportunity to put on your resume. You might even can get college credit from it, man. So if you know somebody, have a kid that wants to intern with the Doug Stewart Show, email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com, and we'll try to make that happen, man, all right? 404-382-0338. You can also email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. Once again, the Falcons had a players-only meeting yesterday and talked about what I guess they do in players-only meetings. I can't remember a time where I ever had a players-only meeting, during my career playing football. The closest thing I can think of is, at the start of a game or after a practice, a bad practice or something like that. A guy, one of the team leaders will call players together and they'll kind of talk about getting your mind right. And, we need to make sure we fix these mistakes we're doing or something like that. But whenever I hear about a team meeting, a players-only meeting in the NFL, pretty much that things have gone real ishy. And the Falcons lost 5 of their last 6, 4 in a row. And the one thing and the one person you could point at, man, is Matt Ryan struggled miserably. 13 turnovers, 10 interceptions, 3 lost fumbles over the past 7 games. Wait a minute. That can't be right. You're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. In the last 7 games, Matt Ryan has 13 turnovers totally, 10 interceptions, 3 lost fumbles over the last 7 games? That's unbelievable. That's unbelievable. I mean, I knew he'd been playing bad. We've been talking about how bad he's been playing over the last couple of weeks, but I didn't know it was that bad. I thought that those stats, when I first read it, and I had this pulled up on my computer, I thought that was for the season. That's just the last 7 games. What have they played, 11 games already? Oh, my gosh. Damn, you suck, Matt Ryan. Right now he sucks. My gosh, I didn't know it was that bad. So, I don't know, man. At this point, you're grasping at straws to try to figure out what you can do to try to turn this thing around. The team started 5-0. Then they tailed off after a 31-21 loss to the New Orleans Saints. It hadn't been the same since. The Saints always got that type of voodoo type effect on us. That's what they did. They put some of that voodoo on the Falcons. That's what they do down there in New Orleans. How you go from 6-0, and I mean looking good, looking impressive. Now, at the start of the season, I think I probably predicted the Falcons to go like 8-8. But just like a lot of people, after they started winning, I started trying to rationalize in my mind how they were doing it because I looked at the personnel, and the personnel didn't really say, especially defensively, that they're this good, but they're winning. So let's go. And they've literally come back to life and back to reality, man. I know, studio audience, it's really bad. So hopefully they can turn it around, man. Once again, I don't think that a wild card is going to come out of this division. You got to win the division pretty much. The good thing about it now, they still have 2 games against Carolina. Maybe Carolina, for some unforeseen reason, maybe Carolina starts to struggle. Maybe they go on a losing streak just like the Falcons have. And maybe the Falcons beat Carolina twice and they go undefeated from here on out. Hopefully that'll happen, but I doubt it. I doubt it. 404-382-0338 is the number to the show. From Thorny Switch, it was true, Doug. Search for the clip on the internet. What's true? The Robert Flores story where we talked about what he said about the tight end dancing for Kansas City and how, nobody was in an uproar about that. From DC Cavalier, didn't expect that from a Puppet Factory guy. Did you? Hell no. That's why I'm still thinking, I need to, it's so out of nature for one of their hosts to say something like that part of me still doesn't believe that he actually said it. Like when he said it, I was like, all right, he kept it real. And then I started thinking about it. I was like, man, there's no way this guy said this. There's no way this guy said this. But I'm reading from some of y'all chat here, and I guess he did say it. From Sluggo, Flores was then attacked on Twitter for being racist. Shaking my head. You can't entertain them folks, man. Wow. Yeah, but I can see that. A lot of people don't want to hear truth as opposed to talking about issues with race in this country. And we've never shied away from it, and that's probably part of the reason why the Two Live Stews aren't at that national level anymore, because we were outspoken, never malicious, never hateful towards anybody, but we gave honest opinions. And that's what I do here on the Doug Stewart Show. We give an honest opinion. And just because you feel a certain type of way and you feel uncomfortable about talking about race, that's your problem. I've always said that. That's your problem. Just to ignore it is stupid. And unless you talk about things, man, and you get it out, and you discuss it, nothing will change. So, I was totally shocked that he said something like that because it brought attention to the truth. It's a true statement. What he said was basically, pointing or exposing a truth. Part of the reason why people are offended by Cam Newton doing this stuff is because he's black, and that's just true. There's nothing wrong with it. It's wrong, the whole concept, I believe, at the root of the whole conversation, but it's true. How can the truth not be good? Now, if he said that, I'm still unconvinced that he totally said that. I'm still believing that somebody played some type of editing game, like I said. But hey, and then one thing also from RC says, remember, Robert Flores and Stephen A. went at it after the Mayweather-Pacquiao fight. That's right. And now, his opinions about Floyd isn't necessarily something to do with race. His opinions about Floyd were just wrong in the guy that doesn't like Floyd Mayweather. So I can kind of get, the separation into two different conversations, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. This conversation is totally pointing to the inadequacies or the differences between how we view one player that did the exact same thing as another and how the media and the public looks at them. His opinions about Floyd really had nothing to do with race. If you really need to go down to the bottom core of it, it's just that he doesn't like Floyd Mayweather, and Robert Flores is probably, out of all of those guys on the Puppet Factory, one of the guys that can really discern the differences of the viewpoints of two different groups of people, because he's not black and he's not white. You know, he's Latino or I don't know exactly what his ethnicity is, but clearly he's not black and he's not white. So he can kind of like be in the middle and give an opinion. And it was probably so glaringly blatant to him that, wait a minute, just last week y'all was killing Cam, and this dude, not only did the dude for Kansas City do the nay-nay, but he was killing it. like he should have been entered in some type of nay-nay contest. And so Flores pointed it out. If he did, he pointed it out. In America, I can see them killing him on Twitter. And that's the problem with Twitter, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. Twitter, you got all these keyboard gangsters. What did Ron used to call it? You got these cats with keyboard courage. And they would never say these things before, because if they said these things in his face, or they said these things where they could be documented, they'd be deemed a racist or a bigot. And so on Twitter, everybody is just courageous on Twitter. If dude said that, man, ball award to him on a Wednesday. Yeah. I mean, somebody had to say it. But I never thought in a million years that somebody at that level on that network would say what he said. But if he said it, I mean, clearly it's true. 404-382-0338 is the number to the show. This is the Doug Stewart Show. When we get back from the break, let's talk a little bit about the Heisman Trophy. It's basically a one-man race. They might invite one more person to this thing in New York. But I'm gonna point out something very interesting about the Heisman this year, and I want to get your thoughts on it. All right, but we'll talk about that when we get back from the break. I'll read more of your chat. The realest, the treeless sports and guide talk show in America, the Doug Stewart Show. Damn it, it is. Don't go away.
At Ticket Liquidator, we believe you should have access to the experiences you want to be a part of. Since 2003, Ticket Liquidator has been connecting buyers and sellers with the most sought-after and often sold-out events across the country. Ticket Liquidator's nationwide network gives you access to one of the largest online inventories of sports, theater, and concert tickets, with prices lower than most companies in other markets. And our security policies are solid, so you can buy with absolute confidence. More tickets, better service, and lower prices, so you can witness the best entertainment, culture, and sports events worldwide. At Ticket Liquidator, we know that seeing a legend bring down the house or watching your team win the championship is about more than a ticket. It's about being there. For all your sports and entertainment ticket needs, call us at 855-638-3034. Again, that's 855-638-3034.
Fantasy sports fans are winning huge cash prizes every day at DraftKings.com. America's favorite place to play daily fantasy sports. Daily fantasy means no season-long commitments. Play whenever you want. Just pick your sport and draft your team. It's like a new season every time you play, so you're never stuck with the same players. Last year, $300 million were won at DraftKings.com, and you could be next to win big. Go to DraftKings.com now and enter promo code STU to play for free. That's STU for free entry now at DraftKings.com. Also, if you use promo code STU, DraftKings will match your initial deposit up to $600. Deposit $600, play with $1,200. DraftKings.com, promo code STU. This is your folk, Doug Stewart. Want to protect you and your family from life's unexpected mishaps? Then join 7. Join 7 is a prepaid legal company under the umbrella of the Protection Group. Join 7 is the only group benefit or motor club in the U.S. that offers auto reimbursement coverage, key replacement coverage, roadside assistance, gives you a current Medi-file, prescription savings, and fully encompassed prepaid legal benefits that include identity theft. They got your back. The average combined cost to purchase these benefits individually is over $850 a year. Join today and take advantage of all 7 for $17 a month. They've been around for over 20 years, so check them out by clicking on the banner link on my page, thedougstewartshow.com, or the app. Just go ahead and join 7. constant battle against weak-ass sports talk. This is the Doug Stewart Show. Thank you for joining your boy. Really do appreciate it. 404-382-0338. You can also email me at doug@thedugstewartshow.com. Do not forget, immediately following this show right here on the Stewart Media and Entertainment Network, the Kicking It with Kesey show returns. Support, man. You at your desk, just sitting around. You don't even have to log out or anything like that, man. My man Kesey is going to talk with his boy G, who's actually Real People Music in the Doug Stewart Show chat. Shouts out to you, G and Kesey. On the 5th installment of their conversations, they're going to discuss Star Wars. By the way, let me stop right there. I mentioned this earlier, and I meant to say something about it. I cannot wait for this new Star Wars movie. Now, there's been a lot of controversy. We had just talked about in the last segment how, this whole conversation about Cam doing this dance and the white guy for Kansas City doing the dance, and there was no issue with it, and the guy, Robert Flores, made mention of it. But there's been a lot of controversy about the looks like the main actor in the new Star Wars movie, a black guy. I can't remember his name right now. Somebody will let me know in the chat. But people are mad because the main character in the Star Wars movie is a black guy. And I mean, come on, man. You got to be freaking kidding me, man. You got to be kidding me. This is 2015. What? Like, there's been an uproar about it. So I'm very excited to see it. Now, the actor, and please, somebody tell me in the chat room. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick here. But the actor that's playing this role in the new Star Wars movie, I've seen him in one other movie. And I talked about this, I believe, on my YouTube show a couple of years ago when I saw it. And a lot of people haven't seen the movie. But it was kind of like a British movie, and it was called Attack the Block. And this kid, at the time, he was probably like 15 years old. This was many years ago. And the kid was a good actor in that movie. Like, he really, you got to see the movie, and there was a big conversation socially about the message that they were trying to portray in this movie, real deep stuff. But this guy is a pretty good actor, so I'm looking real forward to seeing the new Star Wars movie. Comes out in December 18th, I think it is. So I'm with you, Kesey and G. So they talk about Star Wars. They're going to talk a little bit about state of the world and racism, the Atlanta music scene, and more. So make sure you stay tuned. Oh yeah, and G gets kind of X-rated, or not X-rated, kind of R-rated is the word. I don't think they're talking about pornography or nothing like that. But they're going to get a little R-rated on the show today. So make sure you stay tuned for the Kicking It with Kesey show directly or right after my show, right here on the Stewart Media and Entertainment Network. I wanted to mention the Heisman Trophy award, this Heisman watch thing that they do on the Puppet Factory, and they basically rank the top 5 candidates. So at number 5, they've got Dalvin Cook, running back from Florida State. Dalvin Cook not going to win no Heisman Trophy just because of Florida State and the fact that they've lost 2 games this year. They're not really in the conversation for the national championship game. He's a running back. He had a couple of games where he was injured. Dalvin Cook's not going to win the Heisman Trophy, so just stop that. Baker Mayfield, Oklahoma quarterback, he started to make a little surge over the last couple of weeks, but they don't play a championship game, so their season is done. He doesn't have that quote-unquote Heisman Trophy moment. So Baker Mayfield not going to win no damn Heisman Trophy. Just stop it. Then they've got listed at number 3, Christian McCaffrey. Now, I've seen this kid play, and he's basically a new, what's the name? Running back for the San Diego Chargers. I can't remember, white kid. But he's kind of like that type of player, shifty, real fast guy, Ed McCaffrey's boy. Great player, but he's young. He's not going to win the Heisman Trophy. He plays for a team that has 2 losses. Christian McCaffrey, I think he's going to be a great player. I think he might even be a freshman. He might be a freshman or a sophomore like that. So he's going to be around for a couple more years. So he's not going to win the Heisman Trophy. Just stop that. So then they've got Deshaun Watson and Derrick Henry. Deshaun Watson, out of all of these candidates I just talked about, Deshaun Watson is going to get invited to New York unless he just has a meltdown and just a bad, poor, horrible game this weekend where he throws like 5 interceptions. Deshaun Watson's going to the ceremony in New York, and I remember a couple of weeks ago, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, nobody was talking about Deshaun Watson except for us on this show. But they're talking about him now. That's fine. It took him a minute. But Deshaun Watson's going to get invited to New York. Just stellar numbers, man. 3,200 yards passing, 27 touchdowns, and he's the quarterback of the number 1 team in the country, the Clemson Tigers. So he's going to get invited. He's got a couple of big moments. And then they've got Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry's going to win this thing. Derrick Henry's going to win it. You know, it's going to be a landslide runaway. But I started to look a little bit deeper into Derrick Henry. This season, Derrick Henry has 1,797 yards. He has 22 touchdowns. Now, that's a lot of touchdowns for a college football running back. But he only has 1,797 yards. And I say only, you say to yourself, well, wait a minute, 1,700 yards, that's a lot of yards. In relative terms, that's not a lot of yards for a running back. There have been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. There have been 14 guys in Division I football that have rushed for over 2,000 yards. Troy Davis back in 1995 rushed for 2,010. Ray Rice did it. I forgot all about this. You're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. Ray Rice rushed for 2012. J.J. Arrington for California rushed for 2018. Then you got Rashawn Salam at Colorado, Byron Hanspard at Texas Tech, Larry Johnson at Penn State, Ricky Williams at Texas, 2,124, Matt Forte at Tulane, Mike Rozier at Nebraska in 1983 for 2,148, LaDainian Tomlinson, Troy Davis, Marcus Allen at USC, Kevin Smith at the University of Central Florida. And listen to this. I didn't even notice until I pulled it up. Barry Sanders rushed for 2,600 yards back in 1988. Did y'all know that man almost rushed for 3,000 yards? And I don't know why, me being a student of the running back game, and a big fan of Barry Sanders, I don't know why I didn't remember that Barry Sanders rushed for 2,600 yards. So in comparison, you know, what Derrick Henry is doing this year is great, but in comparison to production, it doesn't really compare to a lot of these guys. Like Derrick Henry in comparison to what Barry Sanders did, 2,600 yards, he fails in comparison, you know? And maybe I didn't really remember that Barry Sanders had that tremendous of a year because, you know, it was the Big 12 and he played for Oklahoma State. And back during that time in the late 80s, you know, nobody wasn't checking for any team in the Big 12 unless it was Texas or Oklahoma or Nebraska. And so he played for Oklahoma State and, you know, Barry Sanders. And then you saw the highlights of dude, and you're like, wait a minute, this dude is incredible. So maybe the fact that he played for Oklahoma State had a little bit to do for it, that I didn't remember how great, how dynamic a running back Barry Sanders was back during the day. But Derrick Henry's going to win this thing. But if you look at other great rushing performances in college football, it really doesn't stack up. You know, it really doesn't stack up. 404-382-0338 from, who do we got? From Chuchi. He says, I can do the wave or just stand against the wall. From Juan Cruz, he said what Stephen A. Smith would not say. He said SAS, that's Stephen A. Smith. And talking about Robert Flores, yeah. A lot of people just don't want to say or be real or have that conversation for obvious reasons. You know, and like I said earlier, it's probably a huge reason, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show because we went there. I mean, that's just, and I always talk about how when we first started doing radio, me and my brother, we said, you know, would we do the politically correct thing and just shy away from that type of conversation? And we was like, nah, man, we got to be true to ourselves. And once again, this probably cost us a job or several jobs, but I'm happy with me. I love me. From Duckin' and Dodge, he says, Flores called out Iggy Azalea for killing hip-hop. He's not scared to speak his mind. Well, that's right. I do remember that. From Robert Wynn, he says he actually hit the Quan, Doug. I don't know. What the hell? It's the same thing to me, man. The Quan, Nene, they're the same thing. You know, I grew up in the era where we did, you know, the prep, The Steve Martin, the Smurf. You remember the Smurf from way back in the day? Shut up! I killed the Smurf. So it's Nene. I don't even know who the hell Quan is. It's all the same thing to me. It's a metaphor for dancing the day. Ugh. What? Come on, man. From the Oklahoma Sigma. If you remember, Barry Sanders was Thurman Thomas's backup. I wore a story, or I read a story. I really need y'all to work on make sure y'all spell things right, because I'm reading this chat by myself. Do a spell check. Look it over before you hit send. He says Barry Sanders was Thurman Thomas's backup. I read a story, I believe he's saying, that Barry switched and knew about Sanders, and he told his OU players, whatever you do not hurt Thurman because we don't want to see Barry Sanders. True story. Wow. Yeah, I do remember Thurman after the fact. I remember that Barry Sanders actually was a backup to Thurman Thomas. They had Barry Sanders returning kicks and stuff for the first couple of years of his career at Oklahoma State. That's crazy. From Loose Neck Side, my high school Dallas Carter battled Byron Hanspard in the playoff game. Both teams undefeated. He ran for 275 yards and 4 touchdowns. Oh, yeah. People forget about Byron Hanspard. I mentioned him as one of the guys that rushed for over 2,000 yards. He played for the Falcons I think the Falcons actually drafted him. Byron Hanspard at Texas Tech was that dude. He could catch the ball out of the backfield, really had real sick moves, man. Really had that jukeness about himself, kind of like Barry Sanders. He wasn't Barry Sanders, but he was that dude. Byron Hanspard was a great, great college player. I think he was okay. I don't remember him doing anything big for the Falcons. From Run CNC, Henry going to win the Heisman, get drafted by the Browns, then in 5 years be selling shoes at Finish Line. Don't say that, man. From 9-0 the Rhino, Henry does not care anyway. I'm sure he would be happier winning a national championship. He wrote NC, a national championship. From E. Purnell 19, Southwest Conference, not the Big 12. Back during that time, it was the Southwest Conference. Same damn thing in terms of this conversation. From DC Cavalier, don't forget there were only 11 regular season games and no championship games back then. That's right! Now, I'm not sure, and y'all can let me know this. I asked, for help from you guys. Are they going to count, and I guess they would. They have to because he did it. I was going to ask, are they going to count the yards that he gets in these playoff games? Because these weren't around, exactly like my man DC Cavalier said. These games weren't around back in the day. So the feats that these running backs did back then are even more magnified today because now Derrick Henry's going to play 2 more games, to add to his stats. From Texas Tide, Barry Sanders was just before my time. Makes me sad, but thankful for YouTube. Oh, yeah. Once again, you're not that alone in this conversation, Texas Tide. Being on the East Coast, and once again, back during that time, it was all about Nebraska, Oklahoma, and Texas. That was it. We weren't talking about no damn Baylor. And as a matter of fact, back then, Baylor and TCU weren't even part of the conference, I believe, at that time. We weren't talking about them. It was all about Texas, Oklahoma, Nebraska. That was it. And so for Barry Sanders to do what he did, he didn't get a lot of press. How big social media is right now and how big media is in general when you're talking about ESPN and how big their brand has gotten, it was much, much different. It was not the same. So you're not alone, bruh. I didn't know how great Barry Sanders was until, at the end of the year, he won the Heisman and you started seeing, the clips of the guy. And then leading up to the draft, they started talking about him more and more and more. It just was a different time back then, man. Much different time. The exposure now these players have is not basically, relegated to a certain team or a certain conference or whatever. If you ball out of control and you at, Kansas State, you'll be on ESPN. So it's much different today, man. All right, when we get back from the break, man, we'll finish up today's show. I'll read some more of your chat. Yeah, that's what we'll do. Leading up to the Kicking It with Kesey show. Don't go away. The Doug Stewart Show.
National Debt Relief is one of the country's largest and most reputable debt settlement companies, made up of energetic individuals who are passionate about helping thousands of Americans with debt relief. Most importantly, we're all about helping our customers through a tough financial time in their lives with education and individual customer service. We're dedicated to helping individuals and families rid their lives of burdensome debt, specializing in debt settlement, and they've also negotiated settlements for thousands of creditor and collection accounts. Providing clients with both expertise and proven results, this means helping customers in time of hardship to get out of debt with the least possible cost. It can also mean conducting financial consultations, educating the customer, and recommending the appropriate solution. Core Services offer debt settlement as an alternative. I repeat, alternative to bankruptcy, credit counseling, and debt consolidation. National Debt Relief is your #1 advocate group to help you reestablish financial stability as quickly as possible. So give us a call at 844-828-4975. Again, that's 844-828-4975, and work it out.
Do you have your own radio show? Are you an artist or a DJ? BB Mobile Apps is the solution for you. They specialize in creating mobile apps for entertainers. That's right. You can have your own mobile app where your followers can hear your shows or music, watch your videos, and view all your social networks in one place. You can even make money with banner ads and send push notifications directly to your audience to make sure they get your messages. Everyone has their phones on them, right? A mobile app will add credibility to your brand because your content will be accessible to them while they're on the go. BB Mobile Apps also makes apps for bloggers, actors, and producers. The process only takes about 20 minutes. Just go to bbmobileapps.com and click Get Started Now. That's bbmobileapps.com and tell them the Doug Stewart Show sent you.
At Ticket Liquidator, we believe you should have access to the experiences you want to be a part of. Since 2003, Ticket Liquidator has been connecting buyers and sellers with the most sought-after and often sold-out events across the country. Ticket Liquidator's nationwide network gives you access to one of the largest online inventories of sports, theater, and concert tickets with prices lower than most companies in other markets. And our security policies are solid, so you can buy with absolute confidence. More tickets, better service, and lower prices, so you can witness the best entertainment, culture, and sports events worldwide. At Ticket Liquidator, we know that seeing a legend bring down the house or watching your team win the championship is about more than a ticket. It's about being there. For all your sports and entertainment ticket needs, call us at 855-638-3034. Again, that's 855-638-3034.
Let's face it, the metro Atlanta area is a great place to live, but like most major cities, it has a huge crime problem. Doug Stewart here to tell you about the team of security experts at Strickland Security and Safety Solutions. Strickland Security is an Atlanta-based security company, and whether you need an alarm system installed in your home or business or your current alarm system needs to be repaired, Strickland Security is the solution. Do you need to install or repair an existing camera system in your home or business? Again, Strickland Security is the solution. The management team at Strickland Security has a combined 55 years in the business of protecting people and property. They have certified and licensed technicians that can service all of your security needs. So, if you have crime issues or concerns in your neighborhood, you need to call the experts at Strickland Security. Invite these guys to your next neighborhood watch or homeowners association meeting and let them tell you about all of their security services. One more thing. Go to their website to see their new mobile solutions. They developed a smartphone app specifically for neighborhood crime and safety notifications. For more information, go to their website at stricklandsecurity.com or give them a call at 800-422-9075 and tell them that Doug Stewart sent you. Yes! Welcome back to the Doug Stewart Show. Wild Out Wednesday. Don't forget, in about 15 minutes, the Kicking It with Kesey show coming up right after us. here on the Stewart Media and Entertainment Network, man. Have you heard about the new campaign, man? The Triple F campaign stands for $5 for the flavor. If you like the flavor of the Doug Stewart Show, man, and you want to keep it going, help me do that, man. All you got to do is go to thedougstewartshow.com, click on the donate button, and we're asking that you donate if you're a fan of this show. Once again, $5 one time a month. Praise his holy name. And we will continue to bring you this quality, most unique, different sports and guy talk show in America. That's the DougStewartShow.com, and donate $5. $5 for the flavor. I want to read more of your chat here in a second before we get out of here, man, but I want to mention one thing, and I haven't heard it talked about a lot anywhere else, but we gotta remember to talk about positive stories and good stories, and this was a national story as well. But Devin Still, you remember Devin Still played for the Cincinnati Bengals, and I think they've cut him. I don't think he plays for the team anymore. He announced this week, man, that his daughter Leah, that had all of the public's attention, the sports world's attention, with her fight against cancer last year, he announced recently that she is cancer-free. Praise his holy name. Yes, sir. I remember that that was part of the big controversy about Bruce Jenner, or Caitlyn Jenner, whatever the hell he calling himself these days. That was part of the big controversy that he had won this achievement award, or this courage award. That's what it was, through the Puppet Factory. And you got stories out there, a whole lot better stories than this whole Bruce Jenner thing. Like, I don't even understand that whole thing of what the courage and Bruce Jenner and winning and Caitlyn. I don't even get the whole damn thing. But you talking about a story of courage. Devin Still announces that his daughter Leah Still is cancer-free, man. Praise God. Praise God. Great stuff. Great news. Great news. Let me read more of your chat before we get out of here today, man. Thank you so much for the chat and being totally interactive. This what separates this show from any other show in America is the fact that the Stewies in the chat room are the most interactive audience of any sports talk show, guy talk show in America. I thank y'all. From Rel Scott, y'all kind of like my co-host, Wingman. From Rel Scott, what up, Rel? Up there in Philly, the Philadelphia. He says, Doug ran for 2,700 yards against the Monk Scorner Midgets back in 1978. I'm waiting for the punchline. That's a true story. Shut up. I did. It wasn't 27. I ran for over 3,000 yards routinely back during 78, 79, 80. Just ask somebody from my hometown. They'll tell you. I'm not going to brag about that or nothing like that. That's nothing to even talk about anymore. Let's see. From T-Biz, he says, Stu, Henry might not win by a large margin like you think, as the voters tend to vote based on the region they live in. Henry and Watson are both in the South and could split some votes down there. That's a very good point. I never really thought about it like that. Yeah, you don't have a guy from USC or a guy from the Midwest at Ohio State and then a dude from the SEC from the South. You're right. Both of these guys technically are from the South, so they might split votes. I mean, they might split votes, but more people, and I guess deservingly so. I guess it sounds like I might be trying to make a case that Derrick Henry isn't a great Heisman Trophy winner, but he's going to win. He's done a lot of great things this year, to be honest with you. But you're right. He might split some votes, and Deshaun Watson might get more votes than he normally would at any other time. From Clay Davis' Sheed advisor, Doug talking about his Al Bundy days again. I mean, I didn't bring up the Al Bundy stuff. I mean, you can call me what you want. I'm Al Bundy. That's fine. But you ask somebody about me with the Monk Scorner Cowboys back in 78, 79, they'll tell you. You know, somebody else brought that whole conversation up. Rel Scott brought that up. The fact that it's true, it ain't got nothing to do with me. I mean, that's y'all problem. Y'all don't want to believe it. Let's see what we got here. From Griff, great news. That's scary when your child is ill. Very, very scary. Very, very scary. From Clay Davis, the Sheet advisor, baller to Devin Still and his daughter. From the Oklahoma Sigma, $5 coming. Support quality black business. Man, I appreciate that. Definitely, bruh. I mean, it's not like we not giving you a quality product around here. There's nothing bootleg about this show, the production of it. We do everything first rate. Like, this show sounds no different. You know, the way we come in and out of breaks, the quality production once again, and the great on-air personality. There's nothing bootleg about what we do around here. You could just hit a switch and place this show on terrestrial radio. That's right, you could. From dollars and cents, kind of like texting, it can be misunderstood. From Chico the Alpha, Laugh Aloud, Samoka, Mud Wrestling, Match Solves, everything. What the hell's going on with Mocha? There's a lot of conversation in the chat room about Mocha, what's going on. From Loose Neck Sai, had to be blown out of proportion like Ty said. Mocha is one of the nicest people, and so is, oh, wait a minute, what's going on in here? From Brian Hill, they live in the feelings, happen a lot with ladies. Apologies to ladies in here, but y'all know it's true. They live in, okay, evidently there's some type of beef going on in the chat room, man. That's not nice. From dollars and cents, Barry never got hurt or suffered a big hit. These running backs need to take the approach that to get when you can get and get down. Very confusing text. From Texas Ty, barely any dollars. When I first watched football mid-late 1990s, I would only watch my teams. I was ignorant to the greatness going on. We talked a little bit earlier about Barry Sanders and how, you know, to be honest with you, a guy growing up on the East Coast, we didn't know a ton. I didn't realize how great Barry Sanders was. Until he started getting closer to the draft, you started seeing these clips because TV was just different back then. And media was much, much smaller back then, I guess is the best way to say it. But yeah. Barry Sanders was that dude. 2,700 yards rushing in the Big 12 or whatever the conference was called back during that time. Y'all know the same teams we're talking about. That's incredible. That's incredible. And Derrick Henry's about to win it with 1,700 yards. He's got 22 touchdowns. But he's a big bruising type back, and I don't want to – I know it sounds like I'm kind of dissing Derrick or minimizing what Derrick Henry's done, but you watch Alabama play, he's running through holes like a Mack truck could go through some of these holes that they clear for this guy. And he's 240 pounds, 6'3". You should get 20 or 1,700 yards. You know what I'm saying? You should. Once again, for the record, I think Leonard Fournette is going to be dynamic in the NFL. Derrick Henry, not so much. They're going to chop his ass down like a tree. Like, I hope this isn't the case, but I fear that he might be a guy that deals with injury with his running style, upright style. Nobody's going to hit that guy high, man. Nobody's going to hit him high. Hey, man, thank you so much for tuning in to the Doug Stewart Show. Thank you, Stewies. Yes, sir. 9-0 the Rhino. Stephen A. Smith and Jason Whitlock should get a show together. Yeah, that'd be a riot. Jason punk-ass Whitlock. All right, man. Thank you so much for joining me today on the Doug Stewart Show. Coming up next, man, the Kicking It with Kesey Show. Don't go anywhere. You don't have to log out or anything like that. Kesey is coming up next. All right? Next. You don't have to go anywhere. Just stay tuned. They're going to have some fun. It's going to be kind of raw. So stay tuned. You'll like it. Good episode of the Kicking It with Kesey Show coming up right here on the Stewart Media and Entertainment Network. Shouts out to Waterhead Walter, producer to the 2 Live Stews and the Doug Stewart Show. Thank you, Walter. Dwayne Vassan, Gerald Oliveri, the engineers to the show. Thank you, guys. I really do appreciate it. Who else? Oh, shouts out to my man Pink Gator for this hot-ass track. Beans and cornbread on the production. Thank y'all. And once again, a big ups to all of the Stewies, man. Without you, there'd be no me. Tell one person about the Doug Stewart Show. And we ask that you donate to keep this show up and running at least $5. One time a month. I mean, hell, that's like 25 cents a day. You find a quarter in your seat cushions. One time a month. $5. TheDougStewartShow.com. Hit the donate button. Real easy through PayPal. Thank you very much. All right, so Kesey's coming up next. We'll do this show again tomorrow. Same Doug Stewart time, same Doug Stewart place. Peace.
You let me know.
That's the most excellent idea, sire. Is it?
And you taught him what he needed to be a man. I'll give you that. Because most men ain't man enough to do what you did.
You reach kicking it with KC show.
Yes, you reach the kicking it with Key C show.
That's mine?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Are we kicking it?
Yeah, we kicking it. We in here with a little bit of vodka martini.
Yeah, a little something. Let's do a little something, man.
My man came over to the studio, G.
Hey, what's up? We live in the house now.
We live in the house. And this is one of those days, you know what I'm saying? I probably had them on 3-4 times or whatever. This is one of those shows.
We're going to keep it politically correct for the holidays today.
That's right.
We're not going to get too wild today, man. It's for the family, for the holiday season.
It's a random show. We talk about any and everything. It's just like two homeboys. That's yours. That's mine right here, man.
You sure?
Yes, man, because I saw you brought it over here. Anyway, we're trying to argue over these vodka martinis I made. It's an awesome drink.
James Bonner.
1 part vodka, 1 part vermouth, 2 olives, shaken.
Not stirred.
Not stirred.
Inspector.
Have you seen that yet?
Nah, man. You know I'm fasting this year.
Fasting from what?
Going to the movies.
Why?
Because I spent over $1,500 last year going to the movies.
$1,500.
Going to the movies. You know what I could do with $1,500? You know how much money I squandered at going, and in Hollywood is it really lets me down. I don't know how many times I go out, spend my good little $50, $60 and come out upset because I feel like I have not gotten my money's worth. So I said I'm fasting this year. I'm not going to the movies till Star Wars comes out.
Yo, that Star Wars looks like it's going to be amazing, too. I cannot wait for it to come out.
Yep. It's going to be probably one of the best ones ever. But like I said, you know, J.J. Abrams did Star Trek, so he's going to be able to bring this world up to date, but still keep it looking old and like rugged, like the old first Star Wars.
Oh, it's the same guys that did the Star Trek. They're doing Star Wars. Wow, that's crazy.
Same guy that did Lost, same guy that did Cloverfield, same guy that did all the new Star Treks, J.J. Abrams. So they hired him. So basically, he's redoing all science fiction for nerds as we know it.
Hey, and the what do you call them there? Not the Wookiees. What are the Star Wars fans called?
Star Wars fans aren't called anything. Star Trek fans are called Trekkies.
Okay, so Star Wars
fans are not called anything. They're just Star Wars fans. I'm trying to get us confused.
So you're going to be at the movie theater with your Darth Vader suit or one of your Stormtrooper suits on?
See, I'm not a real fan. I don't dress up. I don't do, as they say, cosplay. I don't do cosplay. I only enjoy the movies for the spectacle and the entertainment value because I like the whole concept of the Force.
Okay, out of all 6 movies, I mean, it's 6 of them, right?
It's about to be 7.
Okay, out of the first 6, what's your favorite one out of any of them, from old to new?
Empire Strikes Back. That's not even a question. Empire Strikes Back is arguably one of the best movies ever. Not just Star Wars movies, but one of the best movies ever.
That was such a dark movie, man. It's like you left the movie theater like, man, seriously? I mean,
that's what made it great. And it had the ultimate reveal. I don't think only Planet of the Apes probably had the better reveal out of that movie, out of, like Sixth Sense, where movies where you get to the end and you realize everything that you thought was wrong, that had to be the ultimate, because Darth Vader was just like the worst villain in the history of all cinema. Like besides like Freddy Krueger, it's just like a villain in a movie, like a Bond villain, just an evil guy. To find out he's the main character's dad at the end of that movie, after he cuts his arm off, after you go through all the stuff, they freeze Han Solo, you don't know what's going to happen to him. Man, that shit had everything in it.
And we have such a world that race has been spent on everything. Did you see something where people were actually upset that the lead character was a black guy in the movie?
Well, that's just that. Well, you already know what that is. That's just people that want to be racist for no reason, because they don't have a bearing of why they don't want the lead character to be black. It's not like they took Han Solo and made him black. You see what I'm saying? Like they made a new character and he's black. He just happens to be black. So they just want to be processed. Those are real racists. Now, if like I said, if Chewbacca was black guy now or some shit like that, or where, you know what I'm saying, when they took one of the main characters and said, oh, well, all this time he was a black guy, then yeah. When they made Lando Calrissian to have the Force or some shit like that, then yeah, I can see that. But no, the main guy happens to be black, and he's not a good guy. He was evil when the movie starts.
Oh, wow.
That's what the trailers are showing. He is a stormtrooper. He's with the Empire. All that shit. So
yeah, he is a stormtrooper.
Yeah, so it's like this. You're getting a different perspective of people. Like when you saw the old Star Wars, it just looked like people in suits. You never really, like, they could have been robots. They never really show you that there's people in there, except the time when, you see Han Solo and them steal the suits or whatever. You can kind of assume that, but they're showing you the perspective of somebody who's like, I'm doing this evil shit, but it's supposed to be for a good reason, and putting it all together. So nah, that's just people being negative and ignorant.
All right, let's pause for a break.
Whole Team Enterprises, a full-service graphics and marketing company that will take your company's image to the next level, specializing in graphic design, web hosting, printing, video editing, event planning, and more. They are cost-effective, professional, and have an awesome quick turnaround. Please give them a call at 888-755-0036 or visit them online at www.wholeteam.com. Be sure to get your car serviced by the professionals at ICN Services, located in the Buckhead area of Atlanta. They are a full-service automobile concierge service who are an on-site automobile detailing provider with the advantages of their come-to-you service. Your car can get their needs taken care of while you continue your day. They will take your vehicle to appointments, inspections, repairs, returns, and more. Find them online at www.itscleannow.com or reach them at 404-934-0675.
Go see my guys at Platinum Auto Accessories in Lithonia, Georgia. They can get your car audio needs tight. In addition to the audio enhancements, they specialize in visual enhancements for your car as well. Lighting, rims, alarm systems, remote starts, and more. Visit Kevin and James with some of the best deals in the Atlanta metro area. Conveniently located at 2648 Lithonia Industrial Boulevard, off I-20 and the Evans Mill exit. Also give them a call at 678-323-7888. Mention this ad for a special discount. Friends of the Kicking It with Key C show.
You've reached Kicking It with Key C show.
man, there's so much ignorance and negativity going. I spent damn near a day going back and forth with a guy from high school, white guy. He goes onto my page. He likes to pick on me every now and then, but he'll say something like, "Hey, so there's so much outrage about this Chicago police shooting. I mean, shooting that kid or that guy, or whatever. What's his name? Shooting him. But where's the outrage on this black on black violence that's going on in Chicago? Ain't nobody organizing and protesting about the black on black violence." So I'm going back and forth with the guy like, hey, first off, black on black violence is basically a whole media spin on things, because black on black violence, white on white violence, Asian on Asian violence, Indian on Indian violence, all this stuff is basically people crime and murders and all stuff happen in their own neighborhoods. So it happens. If you look at the statistics in Norcross, where you are, is Mexicans having violence and crimes against Mexicans. You know what I'm saying? Where you are, and Asians against Asians. You know what I'm saying? That's just because that is where you're from. That's the neighborhood you're from. So I'm trying to make him understand that the term black on black violence or black on black crime.
But this is the problem with us. And me and Lil had this discussion the other day. We as black people have to stop idolizing violence and violent people. Okay. We're the only race that promotes drug dealers, pimps, and hoes and hustlers and trapping and all that shit as something that to be revered and honored by, something to be put on a pedestal. You know what I mean? Like, that is what we put. Like right now, you sitting here with a Notorious B.I.G. shirt. Who said he's known for robbing motherfuckers, shooting motherfuckers, selling drugs, just gotta do what I gotta do to feed my daughter. We'd say, oh, he's the greatest rapper ever. So if that's what our pedestal is that we put on, and that's the image that we put in front of people, just like you said, if I'm an African, if I'm an Asian, if I'm a Jewish person, or Russian or whatever, and I look at black television and I just sit there and watch BET or MTV2 or any of our type of presentations to the world, just like Empire. If I just watch Empire, that's my idea of what like a successful black person is. Like, that's all we can do. That's my problem with Empire. Like, all we can do is music. Why we couldn't have a trucking empire? Why couldn't he had like the dude on with my wife and kids? He had his own delivery company. Why Empire couldn't have been a real legitimate business? Something that wasn't based in the entertainment industry at all.
Right.
We wouldn't have watched this shit. We watching it now because we want to see is Hakeem gonna beat Drama Ganza in a damn rap battle and shit. You know what I mean? Like, we want to see Alicia Keys kissing the gay dude and shit. You know, that's what we put on, and then we say, oh, that's awesome, that's awesome, that's awesome. We want to watch Love and Hip Hop, Atlanta, New York, and LA. Because we want to see what all these washed up motherfuckers that we don't even listen to their fucking music. You don't listen to old Marion, nigga. When the last time you listened to Marion? But you want to watch him and Ray J fight with their girls over some shit. That's what our problem as black people is.
Whoa. Because I don't even know none of that you're talking about, because I ain't been watching all the reality TV. So
I watch everything.
Reality TV, so you're supporting them. You put money in their pockets. You're keeping these shows going.
I'm keeping their shows going.
You keeping their shows, I mean, with the rest of America. You said you criticize when you watch it.
I'm not gonna sit here and lie and say I don't watch it, but I don't set my DVR to that shit, and I don't have to see every episode and all that. Matter of fact, all I really got to do is see one episode, and I know what's been going on with it. They arguing over some bitch, and they mad because this dude cheated on her, and he did this, and he did that. And my whole point about that is, we put that out when we get power. As black entertainers, what we put out is the bad guy image, and we want to be revered for that. Just like Jay-Z, he wants to be revered. Like, oh, I was a drug dealer, I did this and all that. I got my street cred, so I don't do that, but I want y'all to know I did all that. Just like T.I.
But would you buy his album if he was just like, yo, I got a 9 to 5, I work in the factory?
Dude, I buy fucking Kanye album, I buy Drake album.
Why they saying that?
They not. They just rapping about they love their girl and all this stupid shit. If Kanye want to sell clothes and shit, I'm just saying. Like, it's people out there that's not the image that we can't be mad at people. Like I said, this gonna make some people mad, but we can't be mad at cops for shooting us when we make records like fuck the police and I'm riding with my gun, I'm riding with my melons, I got my 2 heaters on my hip, and I do like, so every nigga they think you got 2 heaters on your hip. Like shit, if I see you with that shirt on, I know that you condone drug violence and robbing niggas.
Because I got a Notorious shirt on.
A Notorious B.I.G. shirt on. If I got an Albert Einstein shirt on, what are you going to think about me? If I got a Dr. Spock shirt on, it's like, you know what I'm saying? You're promoting that ideology. And you're an intelligent black man with a nice job and a great family, went to college and did all that. Right. But if I see you on the street, you look like a big nigga wearing a Biggie shirt.
Listen, I met my neighbors like this today. 2 different sets of neighbors. Right. My shirt.
That's why they came over here, nigga. You think they came to bring you some fruit baskets and shit? They came to see, is you a rapper? Or what the fuck do you do? These motherfuckers, I need to lock my extra door, or do I need to? Oh, these are just regular good old black people. Okay, he just likes rap music. Okay, I just need to see, were you living that life or you liking that life? And that's our problem. We want to. It's not good to us unless it's bad. And that's what we put forth. And that's not all of us, but we're not putting forth those stories.
There's no opposite. There's a balance to everything. There's no counter effect.
There is no BET Lifetime, nigga. There is no opposite from what we got.
Wait, we're just in now. BET Lifetime. What does that mean?
Right. Like, you know how white folks they got their bad shows. They got Walking Dead and what's the biker show? Sons of Anarchy and Dexter and shit like that.
Hell, they got their Housewives of Orange County.
Right, and Housewives of Orange County and the girl with the big ass lift, the mob.
Yes.
But they have enough stations. Out of 6,000 stations, they have a station where there's a nigga outside telling you how to survive if you fall in a plane crash. They got somebody showing you how to cook. They got somebody selling jewelry. They got somebody skiing and showing you trips.
HGTV.
Right. Showing you how to rebuild a house and do-it-yourself television. We as black people got one station.
One channel.
2 channels. And then all we want to show is hoes shaking ass and niggas selling drugs and comedy shit about being stupid and smoking weed and all that. And we're not showing that. Like I said, I like Being Mary Jane. And I like Scandal. I like all of those shows, but all of those are successful black images. But to be successful, you got to be underhanded and deep. You got to be fucking somebody's husband. You got to be trying to fuck the president. You got to be killing niggas and shooting niggas in Empire. Like, they singing and rapping and supposed to be all about family, but they killing motherfuckers and putting niggas in the trunk and getting people pregnant and doing all types of shit. So it's still...
Wow.
Yeah, like, so... Even our best imagery is still negative. Even with Star Wars, he's a bad guy. That they turn good. He makes the choice, but at the beginning, he's fighting with the fucking Empire.
Wow.
So we have to put better images up.
What about Blackish? That's a full family. Father, wife, kid. He's got a successful job.
I like Blackish, but it's not natural.
He's in his fourth.
Right. Like, Anthony Anderson is not that type of person. Like even with Bill Cosby, like, everybody hating on Bill Cosby, but like, Bill Cosby, that was his family. Robert Townsend show, that was his family. Bernie Mac show, that was his family. Okay. He based the show, Everybody Loves Raymond, King of Queens, all that shit is based on their family experience.
Same with them ABC shows that's on now, like Off the Boat and
Modern Family and shit like that. Like,
what's the other dude? I'm thinking of the
just Off the Boat. With
the other ones.
The
Goldberg.
Goldberg. Right. Blackish is not that. Blackish is what they think black people need. You see what I'm saying? Like, we know Tracy Ellis Ross got a dysfunctional family. We know Anthony Anderson ain't got no wife and kid. He may. But, I mean, it's just like the dynamic of what they're trying to do. It's like they took a show and they're trying to make it okay to be black. Like, we're trying to explain to white folks, like, well, we're okay too. We do the same things y'all do. We just do it differently. You know, it's like it's forced. It's like it's like white people are writing that shit. Like, it's white folks writing what they think black people are thinking.
What about, there was other shows that...
And if it is, I do apologize to the writers if it's not, but that's...
Now, there's been other shows on BET, but most of everything is always comedy, like you said. But there was a show that came on after the game. I can't think of the name of the show, but it was about the 2 couples or the 3 couples.
Yeah,
3 couples.
I love that show.
That show was good. Yeah,
they took that shit off. And they was about getting married. They were successful. They had their quirks. You know, their ups and downs. They had the bougie girl. The one girl was a doctor. The dude, Sinbad's son, he looked like Sinbad and shit. He was a construction worker. They was trying to get their shit together. His sister was kind of in the hood. She still was trying to figure out what her life was going to be and shit like that. And the college girl, that shit was awesome. Stay together. Let's stay together.
Let's stay together. That's it.
Took that shit off. They don't want that on TV. But we get the have and the have-nots. We get the fucking Empire. And we get, you know what I'm saying, Blackish. You know what I'm saying? It's like, we don't have anything real. Like, everybody hates Chris. That's another example. That was awesome. That's reality. Like, that's what we need to see. Good Times was reality.
Good Times reality.
Yeah. You can't get more real than that. Living in the project, that's what we need. We need a Four Seasons, like a real hood Atlanta show to show like everybody in the hood ain't trying to just sell drugs or do that. Like somebody trying to make it, but they dealing with all the other shit. Like they may have a friend that's a drug dealer, or somebody mama who got pregnant, or living with their baby daddies, and you know what I'm saying. Like you had the people around. That'd be a good show.
That's a good show, then. But why ain't that just regular people like me and you ain't on TV? Just a regular show.
Because nobody wants to see a nigga that's an IT nigga and a motherfucker that work at the call center. Who the fuck want to watch that show, nigga? You want to watch that?
No, really.
The show with the niggas that work at IBM, nigga. We gonna watch that show. If you made it interesting, like I said, like you got shows that are like that, like Seinfeld. It was still, you know, it was about a dude as a comedian. His friends were just regular people. But the main person was somebody you wanted to watch. He had to be a star. Had to be, you know what I'm saying? Like King of Queens is kind of like that, so you could get away with that. I mean, but it has to be ultimately funny, and it has to be real. Like it has to be shit that people are really doing. You know what I'm saying? And everything we do has to be on some contrived type. Either, like I said, either we're being just super villainous, or we're just being overtly Uncle Tomish, like we're trying to appease people and save their feelings.
All right, from Atlanta, both of us we're in the Atlanta area, and we've been here since the 90s. So Atlanta before to Atlanta now, there's been a lot of changes. Why didn't, or maybe it was just a gradual growth that we saw from the 90s to now. It was maybe it was building blocks and people putting in work, but why wasn't? Because it seemed like at that time Atlanta could have done what it is now back then. You know what I'm saying? It was everybody was here. It's just like at some point in time, everybody was here, everything was successful, it just went away and people moved away. And now it's back. It's kind of like it didn't gradually. I mean, it gradually went to it from there to now, but it's just like it could have taken place back then. If you ever thought about that.
Yeah, but that was because the people who had money back then didn't have any power. Right.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, we didn't have... The only person who had power back then was Bill Campbell. You know what I'm saying? The mayor. You know what I mean? Like, for real. Like, he's the one that helped get all... He was corrupting a motherfucker, but he was able to get that shit done. Like... The shit that we needed to get done to make it so everything was equal as far as the music. And then, like I said, everything that we had in Atlanta, money-wise, black-wise, was based on entertainment.
That's true.
So there's regulations and all that shit. And like I said, we're the rappers, the musicians, and all that, but we don't own the studios. We're not the lawyers. We're not the radio station. We don't own none of that shit.
None of it.
None of the shit that we need to promote music. Like, in the 90s, what should have happened was Dallas and Jermaine and Babyface and all of them should have got together and started CD Baby or iTunes or some shit like that.
Right.
We're so into what we're doing, we don't think about how shit is going to grow.
Wow.
The only person I've ever seen do it is Dre. With the Beats by Dre. He's like, look, and it's still something simple. It ain't shit that motherfuckers need. We had headphones for hundreds of years. You know what I mean? But it's like we don't innovate our own industry.
That's true.
We didn't invent Logic. We didn't invent Pro Tools. We didn't invent Fruity Loops. We didn't invent the MPC. We didn't invent none of this shit. We didn't create the CD or the MP3 and all that shit. Those patents are owned by other people outside of our industry. But our industry now is based on utilizing their materials. So it trapped ourselves by not being students of our technology and our future. And we're doing the same thing now with film and music. Where now Like Chuck D told us, I say this all the time on your show, Chuck D told me and you almost 15 years ago that 10 years from now, you're not going to be able to sell a CD. You're going to have to apply it to a product to sell your music. And what's Rihanna doing with her music? What Jay-Z do with him? You got to buy the Samsung phone to get Rihanna's album now. YouTube giving their music away on iTunes because they know that Apple will give them a sale of every Apple computer that comes with the YouTube on this. Because you can't sell music. It's too expensive to make, and you can't sell it because it's too easy to reproduce. Wow. So, and YouTube is also killing the music industry because I can just go to YouTube or SoundCloud and listen to all your music for free.
Right.
And so the only way you can make money as an artist is if I want to come see you. That's the only way. Right. And we don't own the music venues. We don't own the ticket printing company. We don't own sound and lighting companies. We don't own none of that shit. That shit is done by people who study our industry and figure out where can I get a need for that. We didn't invent this microphone. We didn't invent the cables and all that shit. We just using the shit, so we're always at a disadvantage.
Wow.
That's why Atlanta did what it did. That's the answer to your question, of why we got to a point and we got stagnant and then it fell off and now it seems like it's back. That's why.
That clearly would make sense at all. That makes a total amount of sense. Now, one more thing here. Let's go ahead and change the whole tide here. Okay. All right. This is a little sports thing right here. Cam Newton. Carolina Panthers.
Fuck Cam Newton.
The 11-0 Carolina Panthers. Even though we Falcons fans, I can't hate on him, but I can't hate on him. But
he's from Atlanta too, right?
He is an Atlanta guy.
Yeah. I mean, dude, I love it. I really do. I love it.
And you know, our second city is Charlotte, so that's our.
We got a lot of fans in Charlotte, so yeah, I like Cam. I like what they're doing. I hate that they're doing it in our division because I know that don't look good for the Falcons, but what he's doing and what they doing is amazing over there, and he deserves all the credit because they was there last year. They was like one play away from going to the NFC Championship.
That's right, and they were.
You know what I'm saying? So they just continued on that, and like I said, I just hate that they're not giving them the credit that they're saying like, oh yeah, he's in the MVP and all that, but you know, it's the same. It's the double standard.
It is. And did you see the one about the did you even see the article about the Tennessee mother who wrote in the Charlotte Observer that he was dancing and doing too many pelvic thrusts, and this, she was actually from Tennessee.
Yeah, but she's not gonna let her kid watch because it's offensive, and you know, it's.
But like, nobody's saying that about Aaron Rodgers and his discount double check, and that ain't nothing but a damn thrust. And he gets a commercial.
Nothing about Peyton Manning doing a Camptown lady sing this song "Doodah" on his commercial. Wow. Not to mention him and his brother did the racist commercial last year. And nobody said shit about that. And ain't no black people. That's what I'm talking about. Black people need to get up in arms about that. I got football on your phone. It's football on. Remember fucking Eli had an afro and every fucking thing.
That's true.
That was last year. Now they singing the Camptown Races. Camptown Races is a racist song about selling fucking slaves. That's what's in the new commercial. When he's like, I'm high voice Peyton Manning. Ain't nobody saying that shit like it's just some racist shit. Just snuck right in there, just right under the radar. And we just like, oh, Peyton Manning's funny. And we just like, you know. But I mean, I agree with the lady though. This is like I said, this is our problem in black folks. It's like we gotta act like we have to at some point in time change our value system. You know what I'm saying? Like now you got defensive linemen dancing after they tackle it. They got a whole routine and they stirring the pot and cutting the nigga in half and doing like
what the white guy doing it.
It don't matter, dude. Like I said, we got to hold ourselves to a higher standard, man.
We got to act different. It's almost like corporate America.
Be different. Just like they said on Scandal, we got to be 5 times better.
Right.
When we do some shit. Like Cam Newton can't win a Super Bowl. He can't even win a Super Bowl back to back. He gonna have to win 6 Super Bowls in a row,
right,
to even be considered as good as Dan Marino, who ain't never won a fucking Super Bowl.
That's true.
Think about it like that.
That's true. Damn,
see what I'm saying?
He's dropping that knowledge on you. Hey, you Stewart Media Entertainment Network, people that are listening to this, Doug and everybody else. Y'all heard it. This is my man G, aka Real People Music, in the chat. He dropping it on y'all.
Yeah, I'm back.
He ain't went nowhere.
I'm here. I just gotta do a position.
he on that nag. You can't chat no more.
I can't get off that nag. Steven got me on that nag. Can't get off of there.
Anyway, hey, we up on our time, brother. It's always been real.
All right.
Yep.
It's good to kick it at the new Kesey Studios, man. I like this a lot, man. I need to come out here and enjoy the festivities a little more.
That's right. Hey, I'm about 2 minutes away from Doug, though. He don't know it, though. Trying to get closer there.
Oh, yeah?
No, just my wife was tripping saying that.
It's a white female. You gotta say white female.
Anyway, man, it's been once again good, man. Holla. Thank you for everything. Thanks for kicking it with the KC show. And we will see you again.
Happy holidays.
Yep. Happy holidays, everybody. Peace.